Hey everyone, it's Trey. I know extremely late, like retardedly late, but don't worry. I'm here and I am going to do the live stream. I know Dylan said that he's coming, and I don't know what happened with Kate. So it's just going to be me for right now until they tag in. You know what I mean? But I hope everybody had a good week, and I know it's been like a little slow news week or whatever. But hey, we talk about the interesting things that happen in geek culture, and we're going to talk about it. And yeah, pretty pretty cool to be honest. But I hope everyone had a good week. I am sore. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I have been sore all this week. But it is what it is. But yeah. So anyone saw the new Batman clip? That like I saw the new Batman clip. And I just holy crap, that was terrible. That was terrible. Um Another thing is I've been hearing rumors talking about that they keep the box office predictions keep going up and down for the Batman movie. Like I think some are saying that it'll make like between 30 million to 150 million. Some are projecting it to be like 150 to 350 million. So I don't know. I really couldn't tell you to be honest. But I think it might. I think I don't know. I'm not saying that it'll do bad, but again, as you guys know, I am just not into basically into watching the Batman thing. But yeah, we do what we have to do. I mean, well, I mean, I don't have to do it because I don't have to watch the I don't have to watch it. I'm just saying, like, as far as like someone who's like, you know, hold on. Okay, give me a second. Let's see. I haven't seen the Batman clip, but you never know. Penguin might end up saving the film like he did with the Gotham show. Well, the Gotham show, that's a whole nother thing to be honest, if you really think about it. Cryptic. You just be like, because I mean, Gotham felt like its own thing, but this Batman movie is supposed to be focusing on Bruce Wayne. Oh, and you know what? It reminds me of? The Batman suit that Robert Pattinson wears. It reminds me of the Batman Gotham suit. You remember, like at the end when they did that time skip, and we were able to see the Batman suit. That Batman suit probably, besides the one that Robert Pattinson's wearing, I think that one is probably the worst Batman suit. I don't even think people even remember that bat suit. Matter of fact, let me see if I can pull up the Gotham Batman suit. See if that one, 'cause that one was real crazy. I was like, man, come on, what was that? That suit was garbage at the end of the day. Um, I want to see if I can get a good full. Okay, so I can't find the little thing, but I'm gonna definitely show what they have anyway. Okay, um, isn't the Penguin getting an HBO show? Yeah, he's getting an HBO Max show. Sup, Free Fire Comics? How's it going? Let me see. I'm gonna share this screen and you let me know. Let's look at this costume right here. Okay. So look at that Batman costume. This is the one from Gotham, the actual show. I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad, but holy crap, this Batman suit is kind of ugly. But at least it looks more of a Batman suit than the Robert Pattinson suit. but the choices of this right here, you know what? You can tell that this suit was inspired by if you guys remember the Batman Gotham Knight movie, which it takes place in the Nolan verse. And you remember when it was like 6 movies, 6 little short stories, and each story had its own different animation style. That's what it reminds me of. And you remember it was one of them. It was one of them, I believe, where he could deflect bullets. He can deflect bullets, sort of. And there was another one where he went in the sewers after Killer Croc, and it seemed like they took a combination of both those costumes and smashed it together and called it a suit. Like, what is going on right here? Like, why is there such an X right there? Like, you don't have to indent the fact that he has abs. We know that he has abs. You know what I mean? Wouldn't it be funny if this was the costume that they use in the Gotham series? I mean, in the Robert Pattinson movie, that would be something. Uh, let's see. Hold on. LOL. All the money that they spent on that suit for the amount to 6 second screen time. Yeah, and you know what's so funny? If you go to studio, they make it seem like this suit's been used so much, and it hasn't. It hasn't. So Anthony, it's crazy to be honest. I'm like, what a waste. What a waste. That's why it's kind of weird. Like, why didn't they go ahead and just use that for the Robert Pattinson Batman movie? That probably would have been nice. It probably would have been better than whatever's going on, you know. But it is what it is. And before we start, because I know somebody probably might ask eventually. Well, I mean, I don't know. Never really liked most of all black bat suits. I always liked a fan of the gray and deep blue. Understandable, understandable. I mean, either one works for me. I don't like a all black on black costume, but I do enjoy when they do like a black and gray costume or a blue and gray one. So, at least with the Ben Affleck one, they didn't go that route. Thank God, to be honest. But did anybody see the Michael Keaton one? Let me see. Let me see if I can pull up a image of the Michael Keaton the new Michael Keaton Batman suit. I don't know if they have it. I'm not. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I'm not even gonna sit up here and lie to y'all and be like, oh yeah, this is amazing, because you already. I think you guys already know how I feel about about the Batman. I mean, the Batgirl movie. As long as like you would think that I would be more excited about anything Batman related coming out, but they have not gotten me excited one bit for it, and I'm just like, oh god, and I feel so bad. I feel so bad though, but I'm just like, it's whatever. Uh, because it just feels disrespectful. Oh, there go Dylan.
What's
There. Oh, damn it.
okay?
There we go. Dylan.
What's going on, people?
Oh, nothing. I'm trying to see if I can get a picture of the Michael Keaton Batman suit, the new one that they leaked. Sort
Oh
of.
yeah.
I
Uh,
mean, it's not bad, but it's kind of like, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I just don't care. I mean, Michael Keaton is old. No offense, and I'm not saying old people can't do nothing. That's not what I'm saying. But like I said, if this Flash movie erases Ben Affleck and just to merge the Tim Burton Batman movies in there, I'm telling you, I'm out. I'm out. I'm not about to give my time to this bullshit. I'm really not. I'm not about to sit up here like y'all. I'm like, no, I don't have the stomach for it at this point. Oh, I guess now all of the leak ones that had like his whole entire suit up front, they don't have it no more, because I'm looking online right now, and all they got is
uh,
like this side photo of him.
I got this one here. I'll send it in the
When
chat.
you got, because
Uh,
okay, hold on, let me see if I can pull that one up, because they over here trying to keep the thing away now. Like it says first looks, but then now it's like, oh, okay. Let me see if I can share that with the chat right quick. Okay. All right. I'm gonna share that right quick. Is this one? Culture Cave. Okay. Okay. This the new Michael Keaton's Batman suit. Eh, it's not bad actually. I mean, it's just that I don't understand why they chose to use Michael Keaton's Batman for the Batgirl thing. Like I was okay with him showing up in the Flash movie, but to move forward with him on there, like I hope the new owner of WB and Discovery be like, yeah, cut this shit out, cut this shit out. We're not doing this. We're not doing this right now. Like, because I mean, people forget that a movie can be fully finished. A movie can be fully finished, and they can still cancel it right after they finish up the entire movie, and we will never see it. And I know some people will probably be disappointed, but I wouldn't be disappointed because it doesn't make continuity sense because DC is also releasing a Batman 89 book that's supposed to actually directly pick up after the events of Batman Returns. Now you got this Batgirl movie that's supposed to take place in the DCEU, but Michael Keaton's Batman's in there, which doesn't make any sense, you know? And then how are you going to explain the Robin? Because Robin showed up in the 1989 book and he's black. So, and Harvey Dent was black. So how are you going to show that when you're showing a white Harvey Dent and a white Robin for that one? I don't know. I don't know. What do you think, Dylan?
I mean, they're always just gonna do whatever they want. Like they're pretty confident at this point. Nobody actually like reads the comics, so they're like, well, we can do whatever we want with these characters, and no one's gonna know. We got to virtue signal to the Twitter crowd with the comic book, and now with the movie, we'll try and give them some fan service so that enough people will show up to watch the movie, and everyone will just ignore it. Everybody's going to act like they're happy because everybody got what they wanted, and they'll just keep doing whatever they want. So that's how pretty much how I'm looking at it. They're just going to do whatever they want. They don't even care if it makes any sense in the continuity. If it has any continuity, they're just going
Yeah.
to say fuck it and throw it whatever they want in there.
Which kind of sucks though, because it's just like why do that to the Tim verse when you already when people been wanting you to do a continuation of the Tim Burton's movies, but then you fired him because it wasn't part of the mission that you guys wanted, and he went with Joel Schumacher for Batman Forever and Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, which are still part of that continuity that was already set up. So what? You're going to ignore the two Batman movies that weren't filmed by Tim Burton, but you're going to bring Michael Keaton's Batman in there, but without Tim Burton in it to like that's the weird thing too. They're not even getting Tim Burton in there to even direct it, so it can at least make sense for how he left the character off. But like you said, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. The good thing is at least it's on HBO Max, so I can ignore it. Thankfully, to be honest, just like I ignored Peacemaker, I can ignore this one and pretend like it doesn't exist. You know, um, and that does transition in the fact that I knew there was a reason why something inside of me was preventing me from watching the show, and thanks to James Gunn and John Cena opening their big ass mouths, I was like, thank you for proving my point. No, we didn't. I wanted to I wanted to look up the character to make sure I was doing the character right. But James Gunn was like, "Nah, he's such a great character that we can do whatever we want to." And I didn't want to you don't want to put impressions on the character. And I was just like, so why even use the character then if you're not even going to attempt to act like the character's there? You know what I'm saying? Like, damn it. Well,
Yeah, that was how I felt too. I was like, what was even the point? Like, because okay, I know that I was actually listening to Eric July talk about this, and my boyfriend was next to me when I was watching it or whatever. And my boyfriend didn't understand. He was like, "Well, why does he have a problem with John Cena?" I was like, "Well, what do you mean?" He was like, "Well, because he said that he was, willing to actually read it." I was like, "Yeah, but then he didn't because James Gunn told him not to." He was like, "I know, that's what I'm saying." He was like, "So why did he have a problem with John Cena?" I was like, "Well, here's the thing. I was like, if you already identified that you're playing this character and you're already saying,
Mhm.
like, I'll go ahead and I'll read the material, to me, it's like, whether the director tells you you should or not, why wouldn't you? Like, at some point, you're not always just going to be on the movie set or on the TV show set. At some point, you're going to talk to people who actually know this character, who might ask you, like, hey, have you read any of the comics? What was your favorite one or whatever? And if you're just like, oh, well, I haven't read any of them because the director told me not to, then what am I supposed to get out of talking to you about the character? You don't know anything about them besides what was on your script. Like, you
Yeah,
know nothing about the character then, so why should I even bother asking you anything about him? Like, there's no point. So that's where I was also having the problem too. I was like, that's just so fucking stupid. Like, okay, you were ready, and then he told you no. Like, why wouldn't you just read this shit anyway, just so that you know what the character is? Like, all that bullshit about, well, he just didn't want me to come in with like my own biases or whatever. It's like, motherfucker, you don't have to do exactly what was done in the comics, but goddamn, you're
yeah.
playing this character. At least know what he came from, at the very least.
And then that way you can challenge the director. Like I would challenge James Gunn. I'd be like, well, technically my character isn't this narcissistic dude, bro. You know, like especially like that one scene from Suicide Squad that kind of turned me off from the character was the whole the if the island was full of dicks on the beach, I would eat all the dicks on the beach for liberty. And I'm like, what
Mm.
the fuck? That,
I
that
was like,
character's
what
not
kind
even.
of dumb yeah, like it's so far removed, and it's not that big of a surprise. Like, you can tell that character is not at all the same as from the
Yeah,
comics, but at the same time, it's like, it's so then the only thing you're going off, literally the only thing you're going off of is just what James Gunn says the character is going to be.
pretty
Nothing
much.
else. Like, that to me is just like such a fucking cop out. It's like you're making a comic book movie. This isn't like, I get it. Like, James Gunn has that history of taking characters that people barely know or don't know at all, so that way he can just do whatever he wants with them. But it's like, whether they're well known or not, there is material that was written for them. So they have a characterization that already existed before you were making the movie or the show. And you're just saying, nah, fuck that. We're gonna do whatever we want because no one even knows who it is. It's like, so then leave them alone. If you're trying to do your own thing, go make your brand new character and
Mhm.
make a brand new movie for that. Like, leave these characters alone.
Or, like I said in my video, is there are some superheroes who we don't know their backstory at all. Like we know what their powers are, we might know their name, but other than that, we don't know nothing else. And I'd rather you take a character where there's no history about the character, but the character is there in the universe. He or she saves the day, but we just don't have no history because there are superheroes in the DC universe that have no history, really. But they show up, they save the day, and they get the hell on. And I really wish James Gunn used one of those characters instead of taking a character from the 30s. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, not from 30s, but from the 40s and the 50s. It's a Charlton character. We already know what the character was like in the Charlton comic books, even before he was transitioned to DC, because you know people talked about the Charlton characters. It was the one of the things that Alan Moore wanted to use when he did the Watchmen. He wanted to use these characters, you know. And yes, Blue, when I saw Dylan's best friend say that, I was just like, bitch, please. Are you listening to the fact that there are a lot of us? I keep trying because I need people to understand. I'm not a Snyder fan boy or anything. I just
Yeah,
think that the
yeah.
man deserved to finish his film. That doesn't make me a fanboy of him. And I just kind of find it weird that they keep self sabotaging that man every time he does a movie for WB. They self sabotage and then they throw him under the bus. And then when people see his original work, they like, well, why they didn't do this? That's my beef, really. I don't like the mistreatment of him as a director. Like you let everybody else have free range, but when it comes to Zach in particular, WB, you have a problem That doesn't make any logical sense. But you let James Gunn come in here and do whatever the fuck he wanted to with Peacemaker. And people are like, well, you know, and then they're like, well, people love it because people don't know who Peacemaker is. And that's the thing. Y'all always taking these characters, changing them up. And then us comic books fans have to be like, oh, fuck, here we go again with this shit. And now that's what people look at Peacemaker like. Like, damn, Peacemaker is this douchey dude, bro. And they even admitted that like he's bisexual now. And I'm like, since when? Since when? Since when? The character's always been straight. What are you doing? What are you doing? You just couldn't have let it go. You couldn't have let it go just for a little bit. For a little bit, for me. No, we have to remember, oh, well, you know, the character is bisexual. And I'm like, of course he's bisexual. Why wouldn't he not be bisexual? It's kind of crazy. And no offense, guys, I feel the same way about Guardians of the Galaxy too. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Guardians of the Galaxy was a bad movie, but he took the Guardians of the Galaxy and he made them a joke family. Like, yeah, they are comrades, they're this makeshift family, but think about it. Star Lord is the butt of jokes. Drax take everything too logical. You be like, bruh, come on, damn Drax, you ain't that damn fucking stupid. And then Mantis is, I don't know what the hell they did with Mantis. I really don't know what they did with Mantis. But I mean, Rocket is probably the only character he stayed straight to. And I don't know what the hell that love triangle crap was going on with Gamora and Star Lord. I'm like, you do realize that Gamora was smashing Adam Strange. Oh wait, I forgot. You never added him in the movie, but you've been teasing him forever. You know? And I get tired of the daddy issue thing too. That's another thing that I don't think a lot of people been seeing when you watch James Gunn's movies and shows. It's always the guy having daddy issues, and I'm like, oh, here we go again with this shit. Here we go again with this shit. Can the character please stop having daddy issues? No, I mean, granted, Peacemaker and Star Lord do have daddy issues, but not in the way that James Gunn made it. Especially Star Lord and Ego, the Living Planet. I was just like, they're not even related. They're not even connected at all. I don't even understand. Like, his father is an emperor of an entire planet. Why would you ignore that just to bring in Ego, the Living Planet? And for what? It didn't go anywhere. It didn't go anywhere because Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is trash. I don't care what none of y'all say. Trash. That movie was not good. That movie was only there to promote Baby Groot. Other than that, the story was nonsensical. I was just like, is it over? No. The movie's still going? Shit, I got an hour and 50 minutes left of this shit. Like, because it was dumb. It was dumb, and I'm not saying that you can't enjoy it. If you guys enjoyed it, that's great. I'm just saying, for a person like me who read the comic books, it's really hard. That's why I have much respect to the Tolkien fan base and just people in general who like Tolkien, because they're not putting up with Amazon's bull crap. They're like, no, you can do that crap with comic books, but you're not going to do that you're not about to do that with Tolkien, and they are getting major pushback. And I'm like, comic book fans, please rise up against this. Rise up against this and stop accepting everything and be like, well, you know, it was okay, or well, you know, it just no, stop. Well, you just know, demand better, because if we don't demand better, they won't do better. That's why we get these lazy ass whatever the hell, and I don't know what the, and then everybody got hyped because of that secret ending in Peacemaker. Oh, Aquaman, Flash, Shadow Superman, and Shadow Wonder Woman showed up. Be like, you guys are too late, you assholes. Go fuck a fish. Like that's it. That was it. So you wasted Jason Momoa and Ezra Miller for this. Holy crap. Holy crap, that was such a waste of time. And it's like, oh, it's getting a season 2. Why? Who was excited about it? And I'm not saying, again, I'm not saying that people aren't excited about Peacemaker, but God honest the truth, I really haven't heard people really talk about it though, Dylan. I mean, have you?
I mean,
Besides,
I've heard
like,
some talk
if
about
I'm
it.
not on YouTube, nobody's really talking about it. Even on Instagram, I'm not seeing nobody hardly talk about it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I've seen people talk about it. The one thing that annoys the crap out of me, and I know some of y'all are in the chat, some of the things that I hear most often is like how much people love the intro, and I swear to God, I hate that fucking intro so much.
Oh
But
my God, yes, Dylan. I thought you
I
see. I
hate
thought you
it.
was gonna like it. I was about to say, Dylan, me and you about to fight
No,
because that
no.
intro was horse shit. Horse shit. I
Terrible.
don't care what none
I
of y'all say.
cannot stand it. And that's what I was saying. Like, you look at an intro like that, I mean, just divorcing everything that happens in the show, you can already tell how they're going to treat the characters from that intro, from the fact that all the characters just, have straight faces. They never make any expression in their face, but they're doing all of this like choreographed dance move to this fucking ridiculous ass song. And it's like, so that's how you're going to treat it. Like, these characters don't understand how fucking goofy they are because they're so convinced of their own bullshit. And that's basically the way that the show works, is that everybody's just doing their own thing. They're acting like as if they really believe the things they're doing. But any one of us in the real world watching this shit is like, God damn, they're goofy as hell. It's like, I'm so tired of characters acting like that. If I want to see a superhero movie, I want to see a superhero movie. Like, take it back to the early days of the MCU when you had, I mean, yeah, you had, comedy bits in there, like with Thor in his first movie, when like they have him in the hospital and shit, and he's trying to get away, and he's like wrestling people off, and he's like, I'm Thor, the God of Thunder, but then they like jab him in the ass, and he just like knocks out on the door. Like, you can have funny moments, but the whole thing was it built up to like an actual conflict. Same thing with Captain America, his first movie. I mean, there were funny moments in there, but for the most part, it was an actual action movie. Nowadays, they're basically comedy movies and comedy shows with little bits of action thrown in here and there to remind you, oh yeah, it's superheroes. I'm like, yeah, there you go. I know, Cryptid. I know you're one of the people who loves that shit, and I am not with you on that. Like, you need to get over it. It ain't that good. But
Yeah,
whatever.
like
If you like it, you like it.
I
It's
don't
fine.
know. I don't sometimes cryptic. I question your superhero fandomness sometimes. Cause I just be like, I don't know where you be at because that was not good. That thing was not good. And then James Gunn and them talking about for season 2, we're gonna make sure that we make the intro even greater than the season. I'm like, how about get a better damn story? Tell a better story and actually have these characters act like who they are supposed to be. Again, I'm not saying they gotta act one for one, but damn it, you know what I'm saying? These characters
Yeah.
are not acting like they're supposed to. It is weird. It is weird. And then that's my thing too. It's just like, that's why it's kind of funny when I hear criticism coming from people that talk about I love the MCU, but I can't stand the DCU because it's so dark or serious or whatever. Well, think about it. Like me and Dylan are talking about, we're talking about how treat the superheroes like a superhero movie. Okay, DC heard us complaining about that from the Marvel movies. And as soon as they went serious and darker, here come the fanboys talking about I don't like it. Well, the general audience liked it, to be honest, though. I mean, say what you want to say about Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice. The general audience did like it. The only thing they didn't like was the Superman neck snapping thing and killing Superman and Batman, semi driving folks over and Jesse Eisenberg. Those are like the most things that I hear from common people. But it was just like with the neck snapping thing, we already had that discussion. It's just like there's no option. Like people forget when you take out the options, what else is he supposed to do? There's nothing much else because we don't know if first off, we don't even know if that super if we don't know if this Superman is even allergic to magic. Because remember the early days, Superman was you couldn't stop that man. You could not stop that man at all. At all. And it was thanks to that Superman radio show that we finally got some kind of weakness. And then that's when the writers was like, okay, we got kryptonite, but kryptonite can't be everywhere all the time. He got to be weak against something else. Oh, red sun radiation. Okay, cool. Superman don't know that yet. And the same thing about magic. He doesn't know that yet. So it made sense why they made that decision. But what happened after that decision? It was ramifications and consequences. And I think like Martin Scorsese says that the Marvel movies are popcorn flick. Remember, he never said anything about the DC movies. He never talked about the DC superhero movies. He specifically said that the MCU movies are popcorn flick because they don't have a story. They're not trying to tell a artistic story. And he got a point. Again, like it or not, when it comes to Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice, Man of Steel, Justice League, or whatever, if you really sit there and really remove some of the bias you have, it is telling a deeper story that I know some of us don't want that in superhero movies, but at the same time, I think you do need to have that. That's why people gravitated more to the Netflix MCU shows. They were grounded, they were darker, they were more serious. Iron Fist, ooh, we gonna put him in the corner over there. We gonna put him in the corner over there. But you get the general gist is that these stories were trying to tell something human. Like, no offense, I think all of the Marvel shows, besides Iron Fist and the Defenders, is better than the current stuff that we get on Disney Plus because they were trying to tell a deeper story with a little darkness. Because let's be honest, you can't tell. There are certain superhero movies and shows that you can't be lighthearted with. That's why it's weird when. That's why it's weird to see when Josh Whedon did the Justice League movie and everybody was a fucking clown in the movie. I think the only person that wasn't a clown was Superman. Other than that, I'm like, what is this? Batman would never say those lines that he was saying in that damn movie. The same thing with Wonder Woman would never be objectified the entire time. I mean, we objectify her from a distance, but you get the general idea. So it's kind of weird when it's just when you think about it. That's why it's weird when James Gunn brought that shit into the DCEU and people are like, "Oh my god, this is so amazing! It finally opened up the DCEU to what? So it can be like Marvel. So then eventually y'all will watch the show, and then when all the other movies are the same thing, you'd be like, darn, the DC movies are starting to look like the Marvel movies. Nah, shit, Sherlock. Because you guys accepted stupid shit. Sometimes you gotta call these people out. That's the problem with the comic book community of fans. Like we'll let them give us bullshit, and we'll be like, yes, a master. Yes, a master. I love being abused. Instead of calling it out, sometimes you need to call it out. You know, it's weird.
Yeah, I can't with it. I'm just like it's too much at this point. Like I get it. Like it was cute for Guardians of the Galaxy when we had everything else was still actually focused on being
Mhm.
superhero stuff. So I can handle it being one or two here or there. But when it's like everybody's trying to copy the exact same formula for every project, I'm like I'm tired of it. You know what I mean? Like when they again with Guardians of the Galaxy when they started bringing in like cute characters like Groot, like Baby Groot. And all of a sudden, you see in what was it in Shang-Chi when they had like that furry little creature, whatever the hell. And it's becoming this thing where it's like all of a sudden there needs to be cute characters in these movies. I'm like, we don't need that shit either. Like, leave it alone. Stop with the formula stuff of assuming like, oh, we need one of these, one of these, one of these, one of these, and then make it a comedy. And then, oh yeah, let's put them having a fight somewhere in towards the end. It's like, no,
Yeah,
stop with the fucking formula shit. Everybody
and it
try to
was
do something like tell stories.
and another thing that I heard too was the fight scenes were lazy as hell in Peacemaker, and I was like, hey, you can look at it. I mean, look, there's a whole scene of him dancing in his underwears because why? I mean, what you want us to see that John Cena has a body? I mean, okay, great, but
They should yeah.
we already saw that in the Suicide Squad, and it was weird. Then it was weird, and they were like, "Why are you in your underwears?" He was like, "I sleep in my underwears." Like, bruh, you're a grown ass man, and we're on a mission. Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding
My
me?
thing is too, like, John Cena has one of those like gross developed bodies. Like, yeah, he's got muscle and shit, but for one thing, he ain't got no ass. That's for damn sure. And then on top of that, too, you look at his arms and he has like those big, like weird misshapen type of
Mhm.
veins and shit. I'm like, that ain't attractive at all, dude. Like
And you know
that's
what's
like
so
that's one of those old men with like muscle type of shit where it's like maybe put on like a long sleeve shirt or something.
and you know what's so funny too, now that you mentioned that too. And they were always like trying to show off the tightness of his outfit. And I'm like, for what? Like there's I mean, you know, John Cena. My thing is, I don't understand how you go to the gym, you do squats, and you still ain't developed an ass. That'd be the most confusing thing to me, from a person, from anybody, not even just John Cena, but bodybuilders who, you know, I've seen squat, and I'm like, how you still flat though? You squatting 535. You ain't got nothing. You ain't your glutes ain't even developed, bruh.
It's the weirdest shit. I swear. I'm like, every time I see him, like even in like his pants, like he definitely didn't look good in the tighty whities. But like even when they got him in his full costume, I'm like, he turns around and you can see literal like where there's nothing in there. So the material on his pants is just kind of like empty. Like there's a
Yeah,
void in there. It's some extra air. I'm like, that's where
and
your
then one of
ass
them,
is supposed to go, buddy.
yeah, and it was kind of weird because they did have moments where they were like posing him, like trying to show off as if he had something. And that's another thing. That's my problem with DC and Marvel is they keep trying to get these guys to do these booty poses, and even the women, and you're just like, excuse me, Marvel, DC, you know, if you're gonna do these kind of poses, if you're gonna try to show off ass shots, make sure your actor or actress have an ass. Or I mean, you can hire a butt double. I mean, we did it for Brie Larson. Like, let's be honest, half most of her body in Captain Marvel and in Avengers Endgame was not her body. I'm just being
That is
honest.
true. Mm.
I'm just being honest. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of it's so weird. It is the weirdest thing, and it's just like ever since that. And what's happening is I don't want DC, and I definitely don't want Marvel because Marvel's been doing it lately. I don't want them to be doing this whole "that's America's ass" joke, and it
Mm.
feels like that's what they've been doing for the past couple of years, even before the joke happened. It's ever since we added those little jokey moments in there, you know, it's been that. I mean, Faith, that's true. Most men do, but what I'm saying is, if you're gonna focus on it, if you're going to focus on it, make sure the actor and actresses have it. I'm just saying, like, you can't tell me that John Cena could have went to the gym and you could have hired a booty glute expert and be like, we're gonna work on your buttocks. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I
I
mean, you
actually,
know,
and I agree with what Ice Phoenix says. Comics should be adapted like manga and stay one to one as much as possible. Manga
yeah,
readers hate changes from the source material. Most of the time, they do change something. The anime turns to shit. That's exactly how I look at it too. Because I'm like, even with manga, there have been times when they do live action recreations of like manga shit. You know, as weird as it gets, as weird as the costume and shit get,
hmm
they make it as close to that as possible, and they
hmm
still love it. They still eat it up. But over here in America, for some reason, like we have directors and shit who look at that and they're like, "Oh, well, I don't want to tell that story. That story's already been told." Yeah, the comics. But if you look at a comic book, what does it look like? It looks like a goddamn storyboard. You know, the shit
yeah,
that y'all use to make movies. So I mean, yeah, we've seen it on paper, but I kind of want to see what it looks like when it's actually being acted out. Like that's part of the appeal of them having art in the comics, so we can imagine like what it would look like. So would you
yeah,
have that opportunity to make that shit actually come to life? Why wouldn't you do it? Especially if it's a story that people love. You already know you have a winning formula. All you got to do is make the bitch come to life. And they just act like, no, I have to be artistic about it. I have to try and change as much as I can so that people know what story I'm telling, but at the same time, I can say that it was my own story. It's like, no, cut that shit out. Tell the story that we want to see, that we already love, because you know that's a winning formula for you already. Just do that.
right. Like I would love for some of these comic book storylines to be adapted as correctly as possible. I'm not saying that it's going to be perfect, but I'd rather you try to do that than to make up some nonsense. Like, no offense, like everybody's trying to like slurp on this new Batman movie, and they're trying. It's like, are you trying to convince yourself or others? Because this ain't working for me. Ain't nothing looking like Batman. The Batmobile don't look like a Batmobile. Period. Catwoman don't look like Catwoman. Riddler don't look like the Riddler. Batman definitely don't look like Batman. And Jim Gordon don't look like Jim Gordon. And Gotham City don't even feel like Gotham City. The only thing that looks like something from Batman is the Penguin. And that's saying something. And you're trying to convince me like this is going to be amazing. But from that scene that I saw today, yeah, yikes. Yikes.
Mhm.
Yikes.
I mean, and I gotta say, because I think that like I cryptid, I see your point. Like manga might not work so well in live action, but it is possible for them to do it. Look at that one show. I think it's a show, maybe it's a movie. I'm not sure. That one assassination classroom. I've never read the manga,
Yeah.
but just from seeing like what they've done with it in live action, like they brought that big smiley face thing like literally to life, and you look and you're like, God damn, they did pretty good. It's like it can
And,
happen. It is
and the Death
possible
Note
if
movies
they do
too.
it.
The
Yeah.
Death Note movies too. And no, I'm not talking about Netflix. I'm talking about the Japan Death Note movies. I think the one thing that was really jarring that Japan screwed up was Attack on Titans. Yikes. Yikes. And they adapted as faithfully as possible, but yikes. Yikes. That movie.
Because I mean, there are
Them two movies
definitely
were
ways
not
to
good.
do that shit like wrong. Like the old Dragon Ball Z movie, that's how you do that shit wrong.
Oh
But
my
you can
god, Dragon Ball
absolutely
Evolution.
do
I
it
don't know what
correctly.
crack. I
No,
don't know
that
what
that
crack
was
they were
just
smoking.
terrible.
And
Yeah.
another thing, I'm gonna give y'all another thing because a lot of y'all put a lot of hate on that movie for no damn reason. Ghost in the Shell, starring Scarlett Johansson.
Mm.
I don't know what the hell y'all talking about. I don't know what crack half of y'all was smoking, but that movie was almost a 1-for-1 from the original Ghost in the Shell. See, I think a lot of anime fans didn't see the original Ghost in the Shell movie. They saw Ghost in the Shell Complex, the sequel series that picks up after the movie. Because if you watch the Ghost in the Shell movie and you watch Ghost in the Shell, the movie with Scarlett Johansson, almost identical. Almost identical. And it was so crazy when everybody was like, this movie sucks. They didn't get anything right. And I'm like, are we watching the same damn movie? Watch again, go back and watch Ghost in the Shell, the animated movie, and watch Ghost in the Shell live action. It's almost shot from shot the same movie, and they did it very well done. The only problem that a lot of y'all had was Scarlett Johansson is the Major, but remember, the Major is a cybernetic woman. Hello, remember, this is in a Japan that opened up its borders, where it's multicultural. Of course there's going to be white people and Asian people and black people and Indian people. They're literally in a future where Japan opened their borders to everyone. And if you guys know about Japan, you cannot be in Japan if you're not able to bring anything to help further Japan's economics. You can visit, but you talking about staying there, you better come up with a good reason. You better come up with a damn good reason why you
They're
need
like,
to
we
be
only
there.
got so much space on this goddamn island. You want to be here? You better be
Yeah.
contributing.
Like if you can't bring nothing to the game, they're not letting you stay up in there. They're not. The only way you probably can stay up in there if you got married. That's about it. That is literally about it. But yeah. Let's see. The only thing accurate about the Batman movie is that Batman doesn't kill, but everything else is bad. And Free Fire Comics, we don't even know that. We don't even know if that man don't kill. We don't even know if that just because the director says it, just because the actor says it, there's going to be somebody who's going to find a scene and is going to say, "Look at where Batman accidentally killed this person." Because every Batman movie, he doesn't do it on purpose. Not most of the time. He does it out of like, oh, you're in the way, and I just happened to run your ass over. You know what I'm saying? I think the only time it was like purposely done was the Michael Keaton one, where he literally took that bomb, strapped it to that guy, and tossed him, and then smiled and walked away while that man blew up in chunks. I said, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Did Batman just blow somebody?" It was more. It wasn't more shocking. It was more like, "Wait, hold on, that just happened." It was more like, "Oh, okay, well, all right. Well, this Batman said, I'm done with all y'all. Kiss rocks." That's why it's kind of. That's why the whole. That's why that. That's why I never. That's why I never listen when people go on that argument about. But Batman doesn't kill. Okay, all right, all right. The first appearance of Batman would like to speak to you because in that bat plane he choked that man.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That
He
man was
definitely killed
strangling.
him.
That man was struggling. He was struggling, and then when Batman took off, that thing snapped his neck and. I'm like, God. I'm like, oh, that's how you feel.
Mhm. Using guns and
So
everything, like he wasn't afraid of anything. But I mean, it's also like it's one of those things that like it's changed with the times. Like when he first came out, I mean, you're talking about that they were coming off of not that long after like a lot of shit that people would do wrong. Like you had all kinds of criminals and mob bosses and shit like
mhm,
up there in like the Northeast. So I mean, yeah, they absolutely wanted a hero who was willing to kill because they knew the villains are definitely willing to kill. But then like over time, it was one of the things like, well, but the hero shouldn't kill because then that creates like a problem for the legal system of why are the cops allowing him to operate. So they're like, okay, we're gonna have to take that off the table. Now he just
yeah,
incapacitates and then leaves them for the cops. Like it changes with time for sure, but there are some things that it's just there are certain things that don't need to be changed because it's not that big of a problem and stuff like that. Like I mean, definitely, like you mentioned, they've had it where I mean, and people always point this out, like in the movies, like, oh well, Batman definitely killed because he ran someone over, or, he basically made this 18-wheeler go off course and then it crashed into like six other cars and shit. Like, yeah, I mean, probably, but I mean, at the same time, it's like you could look at it as like, well, if the criminal hadn't been there, he wouldn't have crashed, and all those other people wouldn't have died
right.
too. So it's like it really he didn't actively kill anybody. He didn't want them to do that, but I mean, if it happens, it happens. He's only one man. He can't stop an
Mhm,
18-wheeler with his bare hands and shit. Like he can only do so
exactly.
much.
And that's all I'm saying. And then it's like it's kind of weird because it's just like so Batman and Superman are the two heroes that really aren't allowed to cross that threshold of killing at all. Even though again we've seen them kill before. Not that I'm not saying it's all right or whatever stuff like that. I'm just saying heroes shouldn't kill, and that's understandable. But I never see nobody saying anything when the other heroes kind of kill, especially the Marvel movie. Almost every villain was killed by their main hero, and ain't none of y'all bitches saying nothing. Ain't none of y'all complain. I ain't heard nothing. But as soon as Batman and Superman do it by either accident or to save people's lives, oh my God, this is horrible. Heroes shouldn't kill. And it goes back to that whole thing about how we're so hard on DC more so than we are with Marvel and stuff like that. So it's understandable. But what I'm saying is if that's your reasoning why this Batman suck is because he killed, I'm gonna need you to find a better argument. Because that one goes out the door when all the other Batman movies we've had have shown him to do, killing, whether it was subconscious or conscionable, he's done it. He has done it, or whatever. So that's another hill that y'all need to get over. To be honest, And I'm just saying if you're gonna come with an argument, come with something besides that same lame one. To me, I feel like that's a lame one. Okay, cool, yeah, yeah, yeah. We know Batman's not supposed to kill. Okay, and what else did you not like?
Hmm.
Crickets. That's what I'm saying. You get crickets when you get past that one issue that people say, okay, cool. But let's be honest. You didn't say anything about that in Batman and Robin. You didn't say that about the Batman trilogy. You didn't say nothing about that in Batman Forever, Batman Returns, the Batman movie. You know what I'm saying? So let's stop pretending like, oh, all of a sudden now you want to care. And this is coming from these, and I'm hearing it from people who've been watching Batman that were older than me and you, Dylan, who remember Batman doing this stuff. But you enjoyed it, did you not?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then. So what you complaining for? Why all of a sudden? Because what? Because Zack Snyder decided to take a Batman who was fed up with the bullshit. If you remember, guys, if you guys were reading The Dark Knight Returns, and Frank Miller actually had a trilogy book series. Holy crap! Oh my God! What was the one after that one, Dylan? God damn it! What was it? Dark Knight Victory? No, not Dark Knight Victory. The not what I think it was Dark Knight Victory, wasn't it? I think it was
I think so.
after. Well, Dark Knight Victory or whatever. Oh my God! When I tell you that book is garbage, it it made me want to throw up just looking at the artwork. Holy crap! I don't know how that got approved by DC, but if you start seeing that Frank Miller was actually doing a road of redemption for this Batman who lost his way, who did some terrible things, and they were giving him the road of redemption to remind him of the hero he was. Because at the end of Master Race, he got de-aged. Batman died, but they were able to save him from I forgot what the hell he did. It's been a long time since I read that damn story. You know what I'm saying? But they de-aged him, and like him and Superman started their journey all over again, because they kind of regressed in age or whatever, somehow, somewhere, whatever, where Batman and Superman were younger again. And it was like, even though they're gonna leave it to the next generation, but it's a new beginning for them. And I think that's what Zack Snyder was trying to do with the character, was like, because I think what Zack was thinking when he did the Batman, and I'm just gonna speculate, is how do you do a Batman movie? How do you do a Batman character who you already seen the Batman? You already know what the Batman's done. We just got done with the Batman trilogy. So what's the point of me trying to do a Batman that's just now getting started all over again? And I think that's where his mind went to when he was like, well, hold on, Frank Miller got this Batman book that shows this Batman who, kind of did use guns, who kind of did use weapons, who was a little bit older and saw the worst in the city, you know? Free Fire comments. We don't talk about All-Star Batman and Robin. We don't talk about it. Just like we
God.
don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about that one. Holy crap, we don't talk about that. Nope.
Oh man, the Jim
That one
Lee
is no
artwork was good,
victory.
but that story just no.
And then what's so crazy is we still I think Jim Lee and Frank Miller said that they still wanted to like finish up the last 2 issues of the series, because it's supposed to be a 12-issue series, and we never got the thing. And I think that's also another thing where David Ayer got the inspiration to make Joker like this mobster with tattoos or whatever. Because I believe in that one, Joker had a big ass tattoo. He had big ass tattoos on his back, and I'm just
Yeah, he
like,
had
what
that
the?
huge dragon tattoo. I was like,
I was
what
like,
the
what is he, a
hell?
gangster?
I know. I was like, was he part of the Yakuza or something? I was like, what's up
Yeah,
with the dragon tattoo?
yeah. Um, it's kind of crazy, to be honest. So I'm just like, if this is the hill that you guys want to die on, that's fine. But take the loss of that means you will have to take the loss about the other Batman movies that you enjoyed. That I never really saw anybody get online and complain about the Batman trilogy movie, the ones that Christopher Nolan did, when it came to killing or anything. Everybody was more pissed off the third movie, and the third movie was hot trash.
It
That
was. I
movie,
hated that.
that
That
movie,
reveal with Talia at the end, I was like, that's
yeah.
fucking stupid.
And then remember when he used the line to like snap the truck, and then that truck went up. Oh, I was like, so he just killed her. He just
Oh, oh.
and the
And the
way
way
she
she
went out,
died too looked goofy as shit. Her
yeah,
head's all just like she's like,
she was like, it's all for the
I was
head.
like, what the hell
And I
is
was like, girl,
this? Oh my god. that movie was terrible. Nah, that was
And
some trash.
you know what I'm so pissed off about is that I know how some people don't like it, but I hate the fact that they wasted Anne Hathaway.
Mm.
They wasted Anne Hathaway. Like you had Anne Hathaway in there as whatever she was. She was supposed to be Selena Kyle. True. I mean, and she even did an interview recently where she said that she was like she was so excited to be Catwoman, but she was like when she read this when Christopher Nolan, directed her and all that kind of stuff, she realized that she wasn't being Catwoman. She said she did the best that she could, but she realized then that she wasn't playing Catwoman. She was playing a person named Catwoman in name only, but and I was
Yeah.
like, how do you waste Anne Hathaway? Like, and then because a lot of people don't know that she was a gymnast and she actually studied in a little bit of martial arts too. Like, if y'all remember watching Ella Enchanted, that was really Anne Hathaway doing a lot of those stunts and fight scenes. She was that girl. I understand she was a little nice girl that you guys was like, ain't no way in the world. I think what they should have did for Anne Hathaway in the Batman in the Dark Knight Rises is they should have cut her hair. They should have cut her hair. That's what they should have did. Instead of letting her have that long ponytail, that Eartha Kitt ponytail that she had in the thing, what they should have did is they should told Anne Hathaway to cut her hair or put on a wig and you spike it up a little bit. You give it that Selena Kyle look, and you know the Selena Kyle look I'm talking about. The one that they forced they've been putting on Zoe Kravitz to make her look a little bit more like Selena Kyle, and they should have gave her a whip instead of a damn gun. I didn't even understand what Christopher Nolan was thinking about with that one. I was like, what? So she got a Catwoman suit on, but she ain't got no whip, and she got a gun as a holster. Why? Who made these decisions? Who made these decisions? Like, and it's kind of funny because I don't know. Well, you probably did it. I think your best friend was trying to tell me about. Well, you didn't have no problem with Ra's al Ghul, bitch. We weren't even talking. You don't know how I felt about Ra's al Ghul in the Batman movie. Well, you didn't say anything about Ra's al Ghul. I mean, yeah, because first off, I didn't have a YouTube channel, so of course you didn't know that. And clearly I kind of talked to my friends and family about it when I was around. I didn't really think about going on to a YouTube page and talking about it. You know what I mean? Like this was before like I was like, oh, I'm gonna get me a YouTube channel. But it's just kind of weird. Like when she brought that up, I was just like, we didn't talk back then. You wouldn't have known my opinions or my feelings about a movie that came out in 2005, bitch. Like, the movie came out in 2005.
Like
It's
we're almost 20 years away from that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what are you talking about? Of course, you wouldn't know that. You wouldn't have known how I felt about the movie because I wasn't online at the time, and you didn't start your channel until 3 years ago. So again, oh Lord have mercy. I just kind of find that thing. I kind of find it thingy. There is no effing way Joker would stay still long enough to get tattoos that clean. Well, Joker did. Joker did.
Apparently so. Like that's just weird shit. Like the only thing that I find weirder than that is the Joker graphic novel by Lee Bermejo and Brian Azzarello. Which I mean, I
Yeah.
thought the story overall was pretty good. But that one scene in there where it's like he's in the room with Harley and she's standing there like she couldn't give a shit, and he's like on his knees, like holding on to her waist and crying and shit. I was like, what the fuck is this? I was like, what are y'all doing? I was like, this is not the Joker. I don't know what made you think that this would somehow be the Joker, but him there crying and shit, like, I don't know what that was supposed to be. If they were trying to make us sympathize with him or just make him seem like he wasn't all the way evil, but I was like, this was a miss for me. Like I said, the rest of the story is pretty good, but that one part, I was like, okay, that's just weird.
Right. It's just and then what was another one that they did with the Joker thing that was like crazy. Somebody said, to be honest, I don't give two shits about Korra or The Last Airbender. Like the movie, because Avatar: The Last Airbender was amazing, but Korra,
Yeah, not really so much.
yeah.
I know that the movie that they made, the live action movie they made, is the only movie I've ever in my life not actually watched. I turned it on, I put it on for the first 5 minutes, and immediately I was like, nope, not doing it. Like they fucked up that hard, that fast that I was like, no, I'm not even gonna watch this,
When
and I
it took
didn't, and I still haven't.
when it took about six people to move a few pebbles. Yep. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. And then nah, bro. We
Yeah,
not doing
the
that.
mispronunciation on the names, I was like Ong and Soka, and I'm like, what are y'all doing? Like, did
Yeah,
you
it was
not
just
watch
like
the show?
that's what I'm saying. The show clearly pronounced their names.
Yeah. I was like, what are you
Like,
doing, dude? I don't know. The only thing I can think is like, I know they're supposed to be working on it again. I think they're gonna do a show, like a live action show. I mean, I guess maybe there's a chance they do it better. I don't know. I don't have high hopes after seeing that.
I mean, to be honest, I mean, no offense, because a lot of people were trying to get excited about the Avatar studio, but remember, the Avatar people were the same ones who wrote Legend of Korra, and Legend of Korra wasn't that great. So, I mean, both of them are on shaky ice. Netflix with this live action bullcrap, and the Avatar studio, because we don't know what they're going to adapt. Are they going to jump some more years into the future, or are they going to adapt the comic books that should have been season 4, which I never quite understood why we never got season 4. That didn't make no damn sense.
I
But
just I especially don't have high hopes after like they brought in like the original producers and like they were supposed to be consultants at first and then they both left because they were like yeah they weren't really open to the ideas that we were bringing to the table. I'm like oh shit that does not sound good.
yeah, hold on. There was a comment that I saw that I want to address right quick. Thank you, Andy. Yes, we are having a good time. I'm glad you was able to make it. Let me see. Okay, here it is. Here it is. Free Fire comic says, I mean, people love injustice when Superman kills people. You can't like the injustice storyline, but dislike Man of Steel and the DC Batman, EU Batman. That's being hypocritical. That is true. People love the comic book and people did love the video games. And I'm like, but you had a problem with Superman snapping somebody's neck to save millions? Hmm. Interesting. Interesting.
And I mean especially because Zod wasn't even like an American, he's an alien too. Like why are
Yeah.
y'all so hung up on it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you act like he killed a normal person. You mean a person that was trying to terraform the earth and trying to kill all of y'all. And Kal-El literally gave up the opportunity of his people coming back for humans. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Let's see. Actually, it's worse. Those 6 or so Earthbenders in the movie posed for nothing, while some other dude came in the movie with the pebble. It took. I couldn't believe that it took 6 of them just to move a few pebbles. I was just like, that's pathetic. That is pathetic. I mean, I heard they're going to de-age Soka Katara is going to be older, the older sibling, and I heard Netflix show is going to try to do the Zahu Nahu. Oh Lord have mercy. I know I probably do the Zahar. Nah, you could miss me with that foolishness. Yeah, yeah, you can miss me with that one too. I have no faith in that at all. At all. But let me pull up this clip because we need to discuss this goddamn Batman clip because I don't know what the hell they were thinking with this Batman clip. Give me a second while I pull this up because we need to talk about this clip. Oh, this shit was so goddamn terrible. Hold on. Oh, let me make sure I save it. Share it with everyone. Okay, here we go, everybody. Let's look at this clip that they're supposed to get us excited for the Batman with.
Who's the mustache with the broken nose? It's Kinsey, narcotics. He's one of the guys that got into it with the Iceberg Lounge. What are you saying, Kinsey? Moon Knights for the Penguin? Moon Knight's just a cop.
But like, I'm trying to figure out why was they both whispering. I'm like, they were separated by doors and shit. And they're both there like, who's the guy with? Oh, he's. I'm like, why are y'all whispering? Like, you can just talk to each other. Y'all in the same room, standing not even 2 feet away from each other. What the hell?
And my thing is, it looked like they was about to kiss.
That's why I was like, why are y'all whispering? Like, as if y'all like whispering sweet nothings into each other's ears. Like, y'all are talking about a criminal, like, who works for the Penguin and shit. Like, why are y'all whispering like y'all are lovers? Like, speak up, motherfuckers. With your chest, bitch. Say it with your chest.
You know what I'm saying? And then when the way he ran, I said, why they keep getting people that run weird? I'm like, first Ezra Miller, now him. Oh my Lord of mercy. Like,
and I don't like that Batman voice that I don't know if that's going to be his Batman voice, but it sounds too high pitched. Like, he got to sound a little bit more intense. He doesn't need to do the Christian Bale shit, the worship. He doesn't need to do that shit, but he does need to have it, drop it a couple octaves, like actually try to sound like an adult.
Yeah, and then you're right, Blue Wind. That's what I was thinking too. Like, back up. Your breath might stink.
I was gonna say, like, you've been out fighting crime all night, shit. You ain't ate nothing. Like, you got doo-doo breath like a motherfucker. I know you over here whispering in my face, and then you're gonna punch me in my face. Like, at the very least, I hope you break my nose so I don't have to like remember what your breath stank like.
That's what I'm saying. I don't. Again, I don't know. Like, if this scene was what I was supposed to take seriously, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. I can tell you that. I can tell you that. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about it. It doesn't really make me want to watch the movie. I'm not gonna lie. I think I made it very clear of how every time we inch closer to the movie, and every time they release anything for the movie, it just turns me off. And then everybody was like, "Oh," they chalk it up to, "Oh, they're just trolling," or Robert's just trolling. Watch, he really did do everything like he was supposed to, and I'm just like, oh, sure, if you say so.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go watch it, but like, I'm definitely not walking into that with any high expectations. I'm just like, everything I'm seeing, it's not looking good. Especially like, I still can't get over also that Batmobile. Like, it doesn't look like a Batmobile. Everyone that I know that I've talked to, they're like, that's not the Batmobile. It's just a car. Like, it's just a sport, like a muscle car. There's nothing Batmobile-ish about it.
And people was trying to say, "Oh, this is so comic book accurate." And I'm like, in what comic book are you reading? Please tell me. Please tell me. Because remember, this book is supposed to be based off of Year One Batman, right? Year One Batman didn't have a Batmobile. So what's the point of having a Batmobile in a Year One story when he's not supposed to have a Batmobile? At least if you're gonna do something different, go like the Tumbler. Go like the Tumbler. Now the Tumbler is probably the most unique Batmobile I've ever seen. I ain't never seen a Batmobile like that before in my life.
I've never. I'm just like, it doesn't look good.
I mean, at least the Tumbler, at least with the Tumbler, at least you can be like, oh, that's something. It looks like something that doesn't, that doesn't look like you can trick it out. Because the Batmobile that they got in this Batman movie with Robert, all it looks like is a muscle car that was just tricked out. Like, oh, I have a lot of money on my time and I have a lot of free time, and I'm going to trick this car out.
Yeah. And that's another thing I'm so tired of. I'm like, I get it. You're making this like it's live action. You want it to be like it's in the real world or whatever, but I'm tired of them taking everything and being like, oh well, no, we can't make an actual like Batmobile because we need to make this grounded in reality. It's like you're making a fucking movie about a superhero. Granted, yeah, it's Batman, so I mean he doesn't have any like actual superpowers, but understand it's still set in a fictional world. Like you can do shit like that and it still makes sense because it's Batman. Nobody's gonna call you out and be like, well, this doesn't make sense. This isn't like Mission Impossible or some shit like that where it's like everything needs to be made out of what actually exists in the world. You can actually make some like fantastical shit like the old James Bond movies. A lot of that fucking technology, I mean, granted, some of it kind of funny, like it started out in the movie as like something that didn't exist, and then like government people saw it and they're like, we need to make something like that. So I mean, you could do shit like that too. Like it doesn't have to exist right now. You can still make something that looks cool, and who knows, maybe someone will actually make it in the real world. You never really know. But I'm so tired of them always like trying to make it reality first and completely forgetting this is a comic book movie. It can be out there. Like it can, that's part of the reason why like Tim Burton shit like works so well. Like a lot of the stuff just it looked like it was out there. You know what I mean? Like you look at Penguin's giant like duck mobile thing, like that obviously no one's going to be driving that shit around, but it made sense because it's a comic book movie. Like be fine with that. It's fantasy. Just be creative. Use some imagination.
Right. Like it's kind of crazy, and I just don't understand what they were thinking. And it's kind of crazy again. Once again, the same people who was crapping on the DCEU Batman stuff are the same ones that are trying to like the bull crap that Robert Pattinson and Matt Reeves are doing. I'm just like, you guys are a bunch of fucking hypocrites. Are you kidding me? The DCEU Batmobile looked like a damn Batmobile compared to I don't know what the hell that is. I mean, I know what the hell it is, but yeah, like Apathetic Black Queen said, it looks like a tricked out version of the Batwoman car, and it's kind of like, what is that? That's it? That's all I get? Like, what is this? It just didn't make no sense for me.
Yeah, I don't like that car either. Then again, I haven't seen any of Batwoman, so I mean,
oh, you haven't seen Batwoman?
No.
Let me pull up how ugly that thing is right quick, so you can see how so you can see how not Batmobile it is. you be like, what is this? That's it? Yeah, that's it. That's her Batmobile. Let me see. I need to.
And I mean, I'm not surprised to hear that because, like, from what I've heard and everything that I've seen, everything about that show has just been complete trash. Like since it began, I already didn't want to watch it when it first started, and they were like, "Ruby Rose going to be Batwoman." I was like, "Oh God!" Like I was so tired of seeing Ruby Rose come up in everything. I was just like, "Nah, I'm gonna pass." And then she left, and I'm like, "Yeah, I knew it. I knew it. What the fuck is this? What
That's the Batmobile.
hell?
Look, see,
that ain't no damn Batmobile. That's literally someone's fucking car that they already had with this like red motif, and they're like, oh, let's go get a little Batwoman sticker and just put it on the hood. Like, what the hell?
This the Batmobile for real though.
Yeah.
And it glows red under here.
Oh, of course it does. Like, what is this? Is this Batwoman or is this Need for Speed? Like, which one is it? This looks like some Need for Speed type of shit, and I'm not with it at all. No, I'm not on it.
And that's what I'm saying. That's why when I saw the Robert Pattinson Batmobile, I said, "Are you kidding me?" So we getting two lazy Batmobiles in, like, goddamn.
Oh god, like they've just given up. Like I don't even know if it's that they're giving up. Like they just have no creativity anymore. Like you look back at like the Tim Burton fucking like Batmobile from that one. Yeah, you look at it and some people have said like it looks kind of goofy, but it still looked cool as shit. Like it had a fucking jet turbine in the middle of it where the engine would go. Like
You
that
don't
was
like
badass.
this?
You look at this? No.
This isn't creative because they think it's
No.
very creative, Dylan.
Shit, I'd prefer that they had a horse-drawn carriage with just a Batman sticker on the side than this bullshit.
Let me see if I can. What's the Let me see the Tim Burton Batman. Tim Burton's Batmobile. Because
I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, I got one. I got one back here too. Well, actually, I have like a couple of them. I have like a bunch of the Hot Wheels shits, and I think I have one right here somewhere.
Whoa, look at that thing.
Oh, God damn, I hate it so much. Look at that. Look at that. See?
That thing sexy.
I mean, even when you look at like the like animated series one, like it was very chic, it was very like clean, but it's still, you look at it, it's got the bat ears on the back and shit. Like it had the look.
Let's look at the what Batman Forever Batmobile, because that one was. Look at that thing.
That one is sick. I've always loved that one. That one's always been my favorite one. Like
that was
again,
a nice one.
People look at it and they might be like, it's a little bit goofy. Yeah, but you look at it and that's the goddamn Batmobile. Like there's no, you're not gonna wonder like what is that? You know what that is.
Batmobile. And then let's see, Batman and Robin's Batmobile was nice too. Ain't gonna lie, I had almost every action figure coming from these things. Look at that thing.
That.
Say what you want, but that thing hot. That thing hot.
Yeah, like that right there. That is amazing. Like I don't know when they went and lost their damn minds when it came to Batmobiles and thinking they could just be lazy about the shit, but I mean, it's not like they don't have any examples of what some shit you can do. I'm not saying they got to do exactly this, obviously updated or whatever, but no, like this ain't it. Look at that.
See, this one was more like a Batmobile than what we're getting. Like, look at that. That symbol.
And you can tell they were trying to, with the Batwoman show, they were trying to do this, but they were just trying to do it in their own way. Like, and it still looks terrible compared to this. Like, this was so much more well thought out.
Oh, definitely. Like, this Batmobile is so legendary. And it doesn't look like it's a tricked out car. It looks like something that's not supposed to really exist, but it does. And then let's see the Batman the animated series Batmobile, like.
Oh yeah, it's one of my favorites. That's why I got the toy. I got a few of them actually. I got a bunch of these.
Look at that thing! Yeah. I got this Batmobile when I was little. That thing looked nice. And then
I got the big ass one. I don't know if anybody can see this boxer back here behind me. That's what that is. It's like the big ass one.
Yeah, and then they even have the Batman the new Batman Adventure one. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see if I can find that one. The new Batman Adventures Batmobile. Like, see, look at that one. People even make this one.
That looks great.
People
like that right there.
People make this one. Look at that. That's the this is what the Batmobile. This is what the new Adventures Batmobile looked like. That thing looked nice too. That was another good one. That was pretty cool. And what was it? I think the Batman. Yes. Batman Batmobile. Oh shit! I forgot I had to be Pacific. The cartoon. I forgot I got to put the cartoon.
Yeah, you better watch it. I'll give you this new one.
Yeah, nobody want that. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, see, even that right there, even that shit looks amazing.
And then this is the second one. This is the second one. Here's the first one. Here's what the first one looked like.
Like, what happened to putting like the fins on the back as like the ears and shit? Nowadays, it's like they won't even go anywhere near trying to make it look anything like a bat.
Nope. They said nope. Screw you. Screw you. And that's the thing. That's the thing we get, and it's kind of crazy. when it comes to
Hell,
Batman.
I've always been trying to get them to go back. Granted, there have been some times like where they almost get there, but I want them to go back to shit like this, like when they had like not just the fin, but they had straight up Batman's face on the front. Like
Oh yeah,
that's that type of shit I want to see again.
yeah, that would be nice. Oh, I saw this list that I have to share because it's CBR, and I just was like, CBR, are you kidding me? Here's what CBR decided they wanted to make. They decided the 10 best things the New 52 retconned. DC made a lot of bad choices during the New 52, but that doesn't mean that these weren't some great ideas that stood out. Okay, Quarter Owl was a great change to Gotham history. I'll give them that one. The Court of Owls was a great addition to the Batman mythos.
It was very cool. I can't deny that.
The New 52 brought back Superman's leftist revolutionary days. I mean, I want to celebrate that because that run wasn't great.
Nah, I'm sleep. Like y'all can miss me with that. I'm sleep over here.
Like the writer Grant Morrison himself. I'm not saying themselves. I'm not doing this. I'm not playing this game.
I know that whole bullshit. The they them pronouns. Like, nah, you a 50-year-old man. Get over it.
Yeah. Writer Grant Morrison himself, very much a leftist creator, was responsible for the origin of the New 52. He brought back Superman, leftist revolutionary man of the people, fight against corruption and government alike for people. I mean, he's been doing that for a long time, but it ain't really leftist. But y'all want to take it to another level, making Wonder Woman Zeus's daughter add an interesting wrinkle to her origin. No, it didn't.
Yeah, I didn't like that
horrible.
either. I was like, if they had kept the story the same, I liked it where she was going around like dealing with all the gods and shit. But them making it like, well, you're actually Zeus's daughter. I was like, nah. See, if y'all hadn't done that shit, the story would have been just fine. But when they did that, I was like, okay.
Cassie was introduced. Cassie, Wonder Girl was there. Her father originally was Zeus, so it was weird to even do that. Like, oh, we're gonna take it, They said Wonder Woman dropped a lot of bombshells on Rita, while some of them were more duds rather than explosive. One made a great addition to Wonder Woman's mythos. Diana had long fought against the maculation of Greek gods, so revealing that she was the daughter of Zeus was a wonderful change. What was a wonderful change about that? She was a character who had no father. Now we're giving her a father. It kind of defeats the feminine. It kind of defeats the feminist origin of the character. But okay, all right. To begin with, it made a lot of sense that the famous philandering Zeus to cheat on Hera with Hippolyta. Beyond that, it's even more closely related to Diana to many of the gods she already fought, throwing in a little fun family drama to the whole thing. Something that Cassie probably could have did.
Yeah, I didn't like that shit. Like if they really wanted to go the whole route of, oh, she's part of the pantheon or whatever, like I said, keep her origin the same, because in that storyline they have her go and fight Ares they had to go and fight Ares and like she kills him and he's like, with his dying breath or whatever, he's like, you're going to be the god of war now. Y'all could have done all of that the same. Like y'all didn't need to make her Zeus's daughter and all this shit for any of that to make sense. Y'all could have just told that story and left her origin the fuck alone.
They could have did what the DCAU did, where they teased it to the fact it was like, me and Hera had a thing going on. And if anybody was close enough to Hera, not even just Ares, it could have been Hercules when Hercules kind of raped her. I mean, if you really wanted to go with a character that was closely connected to the Greek gods, her father could have been Hercules in this one, because Hercules does exist in the DC universe. So, it was kind of weird. Like you made Zeus, even though Cassie Sandsmark, Wonder Girl, was originally the daughter of Zeus. So it's weird. It's weird, to be honest. And it just took away a lot from the character. Ted Kord was alive again.
I didn't like it when they killed Ted Kord, because I've always liked him as a character. I was like, Ted.
For me, I didn't like it. I didn't like that they killed him, but I understood for story reason why they did it and stuff like that. And it kind of was like, damn, like one of the characters that was so beloved, and usually the Justice League, don't really pay him no attention, like as far as like they know he does heroic things or whatever, but he wasn't like an A-lister where they need to pay attention to him. And even Batman, who's very like cautious about a lot of things, was like, "Oh, Ted, I think you're looking at something else where we need to be investigating in this instead of that." And it caused him, because Batman and Wonder Woman made grave calculation by not listening to Blue Beetle, and I think that's something that was great for them to learn, to be honest. Of course, he was killed to Countdown to Infinite Crisis, and fans missed him for years. No offense, not really, because they brought in the other Blue Beetle, and hey, we kind of had Blue Beetle ever since then. Robbie Ray has been kind of great. Red Hood's resurrection was made more plausible. The whole point of him being brought back was because of Superboy Prime messing with the multiverse. It's kind of one of those things, but I understand they changed it because it don't make no sense to have a character, beating the fuck out of reality and bringing the character back. So I'll let them have that. Identity crisis never happened. You say that.
Yeah.
You say that. You say that. I bet you it happened because it's a crisis. It's a crisis event.
Especially with them having like the Omniverse right now, where it's like all these different multiverses. It's like basically, it does still exist somewhere.
I should know. I have the book, so. The multiverse finally defined the multiverse. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. As soon as they established it, they destroyed it. What do you? And then
they had just brought that shit up, and then all of a sudden, like they destroyed it. Then they did Doomsday Clock, and then Rebirth, and I'm like, so none of this shit actually matters. And then it's like now we're at where we are now, where they've taken pieces of it here and there and said that it still kind of exists, but not really.
Oh
God. A-list representation, like as if anyone knew who the fuck Alan Scott was before they did this shit.
First off, they said some A-list representation. Okay, you might be stretching that. Just Alan Scott might be B-list tier. All right. Not A-list.
And I'm someone who loves the fuck out of the character, but even I'm willing to admit he's obscure. Like barely anyone. If you say Green Lantern, they're never going to automatically think Alan Scott ever.
Yeah, they might think about JoJo Mulligan before they think about Alan Scott.
Exactly. Like it ain't going to be Alan Scott. So A-list representation.
Ever since they made him LGBT, he's been worse. He's been worse off. They should have left that one alone.
They really should have. Like, they should have left it the hell alone. I'm like, this was not a good change, y'all. And I still remember to this day, I'll never forget when they announced that shit. Like, this was fucking, damn near, 10 years, over 10 years ago now when they made the announcement. I remember being a kid. I seen it on the computer. I got up from the computer, went to go tell my mom, they made Green Lantern gay. Why would they do that? And even she was confused. She was like, what? That's dumb. I was like, I know. I hated it then. I hate it now. I have never been down with this damn change. Like, it's not good, and I will never support it ever.
And then my thing is, we were like, oh, okay, well, even if we did ignore it, even if we do ignore it, because everybody was like, well, if you really think about it, it's an alternate reality. Alan Scott is not the Alan Scott, and everybody was like, okay, cool. We'll let Alan Scott have it in that universe. Because they already aged the characters anyway. Okay, cool, whatever. But then when they did that Green Lantern 80th special, and that stupid female writer decided like, let me go and talk to the mother of this character that Green Lantern failed to save. And it was just like, you just don't understand how special he was to me as well. And I just wanted to come by and let you know how special he was to me, ma'am. And he was a great kid. Like, what the fuck? Baby, Green Lantern, Alan Scott, come talk to Papa Trey. You have a wife at home. That's why it didn't make no sense. he has a wife, Harlequin. The original Harlequin was married to him for 30 to 40 years. And you get rid of her or pretend like she doesn't exist just so you can make him gay? Even though he has a gay son. And all it did was make people not read Earth 2, which, if you guys ever get a chance to read Earth 2, New 52 run, excellent. It's an excellent run. If DC did this instead of rebooting their entire continuity, I think that this could have grew into something way big. It could have grew into something way big, but they didn't want to do that. They wanted to do something completely dumb, and But Earth 2 is a good solid story if you can get over the fact that Alan Scott's gay.
Yeah, and I damn it. And granted, they didn't make it like a huge thing, but like it did come up every so often, like when he was like the representative of the green, and then like his past lover, like the one that was like of the white or whatever, the wind,
Yeah.
Avatar took his like lover's form. I was like, okay, that's just weird.
But I mean, it was still, but Earth 2 was still a good solid story though.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing, like I'm someone, I do enjoy like alternate universe stories and shit like that, like Elseworld stories and shit like that. I do enjoy stories like that. But I'm starting to get to the point, especially with what they're doing now, where they'll do shit like this and they'll say like, well, no, but it's not on, the main continuity. It's on this alternate universe. I'm like, okay, now y'all are just trying to use this as an excuse whenever y'all do something lazy, whenever y'all do something just stupid. And you're like, well, why are you getting mad? It's not in the main universe. It's in an alternate. Yeah, but motherfucker, they're doing it and telling the story because they're expecting you to like support it. So that way they can use it as a backdoor to bring it into the main universe. And then when we try to like say some shit about it, then they're like, well, it's something that already happened years ago. Like, why weren't you talking about it then? I was talking about it then. I talked about it then. I'm talking about it now. I've never liked it. So don't try and gaslight me on the shit.
Right. Like it's kind of crazy. They're trying to gaslight us about it, that kind of stuff. And it's like, no. We know exactly what we're talking about. Thank you very much. Pitting the Justice League against Darkseid in their origin gave a better reason for the biggest heroes to come together.
I mean, it really depends on who you ask, because like in the original, like they came together against Starro, which was a conqueror from in the universe. It's like, I mean, it really just depends on how you define it. Like, if you think Starro is goofy or whatever, I mean, maybe that's just on you. If you've seen any of the ways they use Starro, like he's actually pretty intimidating considering what he can do. But okay.
And if you think about it, it's kind of dumb because it'll just be like, oh, we're gonna do. It'll be like Marvel doing Avengers #1, and we're gonna reboot our Marvel universe, and we're gonna do the Avengers, the classic ones that the ones from the movie, and their first villain that they face is Thanos, and you're just like, the fuck. So I don't know if I agree with that. I don't agree with them actually having Darkseid. I think that should have been like a final boss kind of thing or whatever, or a storyline that was built up and set up, because we already seen the Justice League take him down. So his threat's not really all that threatening when you were defeated by these heroes.
Yeah, because it's like either you have to say that Darkseid wasn't as powerful as he could be, that was him at his weakest, or you would have to say that the Justice League, that was them at their strongest. And it's like they just met, so they can't really be operating at optimum efficiency. Like one or the other has to be true. They can't both be the same. If he is the greatest threat in the universe and they already beat him, then there's nowhere else for them to go. Everything else would be beneath them to actually like handle as a team. Everything else could be handled by maybe one or two of them. But if he was weaker than he would be, then you would have to show that he was too weak and he had to go and like find more power and shit like that, which, I mean, okay, maybe you could do that, but that wouldn't be all that interesting for very long. So it's like, it really does kind of shoot it in the foot when it's like, you think that that's giving them a better reason, but there are a whole lot of other villains out there in the universe that they could have fought before going straight to Darkseid. So that was a little bit of a cop out.
Oh, definitely. That's why it's kind of dumb that they even did that. To be honest, what should have happened is if he had to be the first villain that they faced, the Justice League didn't. The Justice League was on the brink of total defeat, until something intervened that stopped Darkseid from conquering or defeating the Justice League. Where they realized, man, there are stronger forces out there, and we need to work together as a team. So when Darkseid come back next time, we'll be better prepared. That's what they should have did, but they didn't. They didn't do that. That was the mistake right there. And number one, Cyborg's new origins made him a player in the New 52 universe. Oh God, that was such a terrible choice. Cyborg was always a fan favorite, but he seemed destined to never really live up to his potential. Where who? Excuse me, please show me whose fan who he was a fan favorite of what? He was a good character, but he was never a fan favorite character. The New 52 changed all of that. His new origins bonded him with the Mother Box in Darkseid's evasion, giving him new powers and ability. This made him a major player in the DC New 52 universe, and put the character who had long deserved it on the Justice League. The New 52 changed a lot about Cyborg, and it was welcome. He finally hit the next level of the DC universe after being installed for years, getting a chance to shine on one of the biggest stages in comic book industry. First off, Cyborg was Batman's bitch. If anybody was reading Justice League, I don't know what to tell y'all. Batman was in control of Cyborg because he was always Cyborg's tech support. Oh, Victor, can you build this for me? Sure, Batman. Bruce, are you kidding me? Bruce, you can build this without thinking about it. Like, why are you asking Cyborg to do it? And then they had a Cyborg solo run that I think went for like 20 issues before people cared.
Yeah, I think, they did one volume of it that I think lasted to like 8 issues, and then they did another one like literally 2 months later. They restarted it with number 1, and I think that one went up to like 22 or something like that.
Yeah. And I understand. And let's be honest, the only reason why this character was here was because Jeff Johns is from Detroit. Cyborg is from Detroit. But Jeff, it's just like you forgot that this character belongs on a Teen Titans. You can't take away that all of that character development and growth from him, and then put him on Justice League. Justice League is not a family. They're not a family. Sorry, they all have their own lives and personalities. But when he's with the Teen Titans, that's family. So it was weird. It was weird, and I understand they only wanted to do it just so they could have a black person on there, but they could have did something better.
Yeah, like they didn't need to do that. It really was just so stupid. It was like, of all the heroes like, if y'all really wanted to put a black person on the league who was like some sort of tech genius, Mr. Terrific, he wasn't doing anything at all. Y'all could have just brought him in there.
Oh, I think actually he was though. I think he was doing something though. He was doing his own solo run.
Yeah, they had him in a solo run. That's what I'm saying too. I'm like, he already had something solo going on. Y'all wouldn't have to have like put him in the league and then give him like a solo title. He already had one. Just go ahead and throw him in Justice League too. Like, you might as well.
True.
Steel's another option. That's a good point, Free Fire.
Let's see what Free Fire says. Let me see. Hold on. Let me get back over there. Cyborg is supposed to be a Titan. Oh, Steel is another option. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, freaking said, Trey, I love the Justice League, but like you said, hey, we're not a family, which separates the Teen Titans from the Justice League, which made things interesting. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. And that's the craziest thing. Like, holy crap. Oh, did you guys hear about the whole America Chavez bull crap?
Oh yeah, that's so fucking stupid. Like that, It seemed to me like it was one person that kind of kicked it off because, like,
Mhm.
I'm assuming it was a she, like, went over there and like was harassing the actress, saying like, you're stealing this like from Afro Latina actresses and all this shit. And then she thought she was gonna go and like do a layup on Twitter and say, "Ha ha, I told her a whole bunch of shit," and everybody was like, "She's 15 years old. The hell's the matter with you?" And like, it's not like she cast herself in the role, so why are you bitching to her?
Right. And it's kind of crazy though, because for me, I just said that's what y'all get though. If you really think about it, that's exactly what they get. Um, they always do this with these characters anyway. A character that's supposed to be a little bit darker, they get a lighter skin complexion girl or
Mhm.
man to play them. And I was just like,
I
welcome to
remember
our world.
it happened with Kamala Khan too. When they cast that girl, they were like, "She's not dark enough. She's supposed to be this or that." I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay," but y'all are just assuming the only way that one ethnicity looks is always dark skin. Like, there are light skinned Mexicans. They've been making that distinction too. Like, well, she's not Mexican. She's Puerto Rican. I'm like, and I've seen light skinned Puerto Ricans. Like, look at J Lo's ass. Like, come on now.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy. I was just like, well, welcome to our world. We've been dealing with this for Storm for years. Every time they do Storm, let's make her light skinned. And everybody be like, okay, clearly she a dark skinned woman, but okay, at least she's black.
Yeah.
At least the character's black.
I'm
You
just
know?
like, I don't enjoy seeing people like, harass this 15-year-old. Like, it's not her fault. She doesn't deserve the hatred or whatever. But at the same time, I get a little bit of joy out of it because, yeah, exactly, Prince. Like, that is exactly how I feel about it. It's like, oh, now all of a sudden y'all will be like, well, this isn't true to the comics. It's like, y'all didn't really give a shit about that up until now, when it's a character you actually like, and now you want to be all about like comic book accuracy and all that shit. It's like, well, yeah, now you give a shit because it's this character. I'm like, and it's a character that's existed for like, I don't know, 5 years. Well, maybe like, I don't know, 10
10
years
years.
now. Yeah, like barely even 10 years. Like, she ain't an old character. And y'all are acting like as if they have, like, as if she's always been like this. Like, they've made her darker and darker with each iteration. Like, when I was reading in this Robbins comic that I had the video out for, I was
Mhm.
noticing with what they did to Helena, I was like, she was never this fucking dark in the Grayson series. They just made her this fucking dark in this issue of this comic. And now if they ever put her on a show, they're gonna be like, well, she's not dark enough. I'm like, she was never this dark to begin with, even in her first appearances like this. Like, for one thing, that's not Helena Bertinelli. Like, I don't care what fucking name they call her, that's not Helena Bertinelli, but whatever.
Right. First off, when we saw her, she was straight up a black woman. She was
Mhm.
straight up a black woman. And then like when Rebirth came, she apparently she smoothed out her afro puff and put on a Huntress costume and was like, I'm Huntress now because because now the real Helena Bertinelli is going to return. And I'm like, that doesn't even make any no damn logical sense. Why are you even Helena? Oh my lord, immerse. Okay, fine, whatever. It don't make no sense because even then, when her hair hits water, it doesn't throw back or anything. It just
Mm.
it stays like a white person. But okay, that's why it didn't make no sense. That character could have been a character all her own, instead of calling her Helena Bertinelli. To be honest.
That's what I'm saying too. I'm like, y'all are always like, people are always crying for like new characters and shit, or characters like people are gonna love or whatever, who are like black or whatever. It's like, well, y'all made one. You could have just given her a different name. You didn't need to take a name that was already taken by a character who looks nothing like that. Huntress has never looked like that. I mean, historically, the character's never been like that. So if you made the character, give her a new name, call her something new, and then put her in that Grayson book. Like, it's not that hard.
Yeah, and it's kind of like they were doing that because they brought Helena Wayne over there, and you're just like,
Mm.
okay, but we know the difference between Helena Wayne and Helena Bertinelli, and the way y'all was making it seem like Helena Bertinelli was dead, but then all of a sudden this random black woman changes her entire style and was like, now it's time for the real Helena Bertinelli to come. What? What?
Mm.
How you go from black to white?
I don't, it's so stupid.
Definitely is. Definitely is. But My biggest issue too with the character isn't even the actress. My biggest issue is why did you de-age her? Uh, Why did you make her 15? She's clearly a 19-year-old girl. You could have
It's
you could have still had the you still could did a long-term contract with the actress. I mean, what's her name? Haley Steinfeld was 22 playing Kate, and Kate is like 18 years old, you know? So you can't really say, oh, we couldn't find nobody. You could have. You could have, because no offense, that 15-year-old girl don't look like she can beat up anybody. And America Chavez has flight, super strength, and the ability to punch star panels into the universe as interdimensional portals. Is it because we were ashamed of her costume?
I just really hope that they don't do anything with the character that's anything like that Gabby Rivera run, because that shit was terrible.
Oh my God! That
So I
Gabby
hope they
Rivera.
avoid everything that came from that, because we don't need any of that shit.
And that's another thing I wanted to ask. How do you feel about the new origins for America Chavez? I don't know if you've read Made in America.
I have the
But
series here. I haven't read it yet.
But okay, so basically, you know the original one. She comes from a parallel utopia where lesbians is a thing, and she's an alien. She's an alien who just happened to look Latina. You know what I'm saying? But in the new series, Made in America, they made it where all of that shit that she did. First off, all the shit that she did in Gabby Rivera's run never happened. That was her hallucinating shit. Then they take it further and say that her origins is her making it up because of the trauma that she went through while she was a child being experimented on while she was in a facility called the Parallel Utopia. She still had her lesbian moms. They were scientists that were trying to find cures for the girls in the facility, and she was one of the girls. Mm-hmm. And I said, what the fuck? That still doesn't explain how she got multi-dimensional powers then.
I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like ever since they made this character, like they just haven't known what to do with it. And I guess that's kind of what happens when you have like the people who created her were two dudes, right? And
Yeah.
I mean, it's like ever since then they've just gone further and further away from like what they did with it. And it's even kind of weirder for me. I remember I got upset one time because I was reading an article. I think it was when they first announced that like they were pretty sure America was going to be in the Doctor Strange movie. And they were talking about it as though she was created by Gabby Rivera and whoever the artist was on her run. I was like, no. Gabby did not create that character. Like Gabby was never the creator of that character. So I don't know why y'all are like saying it that she was made by her. I was like, no, she wasn't. That bitch literally stepped into a character, or I should say she was dropped into a character she had no connection to. And the reason I can say she was dropped in, because even that bitch has said that Marvel came and found her. She didn't apply for the job. She didn't submit any scripts or anything for the character. They literally came and found her and were like, hey, we have this character that we'd like to be written as a lesbian. You're a lesbian and your last name is Rivera. Why don't you come and write her? And then she proceeded to write the worst fucking comic books in the history of comic books. Like, that's what happens when you have no real creative oversight from like editorial and shit, and they just go out and do random shit. And now they have this character coming to a movie, and it's coming from comics that for a while have made no fucking sense.
Yeah, it is weird that they're doing that with this character, which is kind of crazy because this character, shocker everyone, she's an original character. She's an original character that had potential. She literally could have been something because she was excellent in Invaders, I believe. The first appearance was in Invaders or something like that. Something with a tie in the rain, I believe. And then she showed up in Young Avengers. She was excellent in that. And then she showed up, and then when they did All New, All Different, she showed up in the Ultimates, which is an underrated series. You guys should read that book. I understand it got canceled because it was low sales, but let's be honest. We know the real reason why nobody was buying that book is because Carol Danvers' bitch ass was in it. Remember, that was another thing too. You remember All New, All Different would add Carol Danvers into a lot of books for some reason, and you just like, we don't like her. We don't like her. We don't like her nor Kamala Khan, and y'all keep forcing them down our throats. That's why it's kind of weird when, like, again, when people be throwing that hate against Miles Morales, I was like, say what you want about it, but Marvel never threw that character in our face and was like, you're going to like this character. No, they were just like, here's the character, hope you like it, and it took off from there. Even though now they're like trying to self-sabotage him with that whole bullshit what if and that terrible Spider-Man costume and that terrible Spider-Man Clone Saga book. But yeah.
That new costume they got for him is a crime. Every time I see it,
Yeah.
I'm like, this looks so bad. Like it's just it's not good at all.
My thing is the costume could work itself, but why put on an oversized sweater that turns into a mask thing that he puts around his mouth? Like what?
That's what I was trying to say too. I'm like, what type of clothing is that? That it's like this oversized thing, but then he can like make it tight right here with the little drawstrings that always have like the little bow tied in the back. I was like, what the hell is that? Especially because it's like he has a mask under that, so it's like, does the mask not cover his whole face that he has to pull this part up? I'm like, how does any of that make sense?
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing too. It don't make sense. It really don't make sense. But the character but with America Chavez, she wasn't a bad character. She really wasn't. And then they let Gabby Rivera get on her ass, and it's been bullshit ever since. And because that run is so terrible that nobody's trying to give America Made in the USA a chance, because they were like, "Are you kidding me? We're not going to give her a chance." Did you guys not see that last run you guys did? No thanks. No thanks. No thanks.
Yeah, literally the only reason why I did buy Made in America was because I was like, oh, word, Gabby Rivera's not on it? Okay, maybe I'll check it out. Because I'm the same way. I'm like, I don't hate America Chavez. Like you said, she's an original character, which is something we're always talking about. Y'all want these type of characters, make new ones. She's a new one. So I was like, all right, I'm willing to check it out, seeing what it's about. But then seeing what Gabby was doing with it, I was like, nah, I'm not buying that shit. And then when they came back with another series for it, but Gabby's not on, I was like, okay, you know what? I'll check it out. I don't know anything about, what this story is going to be about, so I'm willing to give it a shot. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like they do make new characters and then they just completely fuck it up. So that's where they're thinking like, oh, well, if we want these like type of changes to really like hit, then we have to take characters that already exist and then give them like some new part of their lineage and shit, a new character that's basically just a tokenized version of a character that already exists, and then it'll be a success. It's like, no, that's not the point. The point is, if you want to make a new character, give them good stories and it'll be a hit. That's never changed. That's always been the formula to success.
That definitely true. And another thing too is America Chavez is bisexual. I know Gabby decided to make a full-blown lesbian, but no, when she was introduced, she was into boys. She was into boys, and when she was first introduced in that whatever comic book she was in, the first comic book, she was flirting with some boys, and in Young Avengers she was also flirting with some boys, and she flirted with a girl too. And I think she was talking to Kate about it, and then she was like, "Yeah, I'm bisexual." She was like, because I come from a world that women are the dominant thing, and it makes sense for for women to rub their clitoris together and one of them get pregnant.
I mean, it is what it is. If that's how it is, on the alternate reality she came from, then all right, hey, that's how it works over there. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, if they really wanted to make it accurate, they could try and make it accurate. Where it's because I've seen this happen before. I've seen women who date dudes like all throughout their teens. They hit their early 20s, and they're like, actually, I think I'm bi. And then they get a girlfriend, and then they go through that relationship for like a year, and then they're like, actually, I'm lesbian, and I've always been lesbian, until they hit a rough patch in that lesbian relationship, and then all of a sudden they cheat on their girlfriend with a dude. and then they go back to, oh no, I'm actually bi, and then they end up with a boyfriend. It's like, if they wanted to make this real to life, like they say that they do, they could end up doing something like that. Have her think, oh, I was bi, and then I got a girlfriend, so I'm actually lesbian, but I get bored with it, so I'm gonna go cheat with a dude, and now I'm back to being bi because I don't really know what it is that I really want. Like, that'd be much more true to life, because I've seen that happen I don't know how many fucking times. So I mean,
Yeah,
it's not like it wouldn't be true to life.
and it's kind of crazy, to be honest. That's why it's like, really, really, Marvel, you really gonna sit up here and take this character that actually works and you destroy. And since it's Black History Month, let's talk about one character that Marvel had that I just was like, I don't understand. I don't understand. And I tried reading his book. Remember when Marvel was trying to make the Inhumans a thing?
Hmm.
And they had one character who was supposed to be their breakout star was Mosaic. And he was this black guy, basketball player who lost his body because of the Terrigen Mist. But, you know, what was that? Shit, fuck, I lost the goddamn thing. Oh, wait, the Terrigen gas. The Terrigen gas had changed him where he lost his body. So basically, he's like dead man, but he has the ability to go inside other people's bodies. I'm about to say that's it. That's all I got for you. I mean, I don't know what. And I tried reading the book because I was just like, let me give it a chance. Matter of fact, let me make sure there was nothing else because I don't know if there was anything else. Let's see. Because they were really trying to get this character to work. And I was like,
they tried half-heartedly to like make the Inhumans a thing, which I mean, it's such a shame because like the Inhumans are pretty cool, for what they are. But when they basically tried to do it because they were like, well, we don't have the rights to mutants, but we want something that's sort of like the mutants, so we'll just make the Inhumans the stand-ins. It's like, why? And especially because they just half-assed it. Like they just expected everybody to understand it's like the mutants, but because of aliens. So that's all the explanation you need. Now we're going to do everything we want, and we're going to throw around Terrigen Mists every so often. Like, here's another character. It's like, okay, it's very obvious y'all want to tell mutant stories, but you don't have the rights to tell mutant stories, so you're just going to do it with these. And then when it crashed and burned, they were like, okay, let's go and try and make a deal to get our mutants back so we can actually do those stories. And now they have it. So it's like, all right, great. But you fucked up another property for it.
They destroyed them, and the company went in like financial ruins for them, $71 billion just to get back the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. Woo, wow, $71 billion. I hope you can make that back. Oh, wait, you didn't.
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm like, I really hope that works for y'all somehow, because man, that was a huge gamble. I hope that their fucking Fantastic Four movie that I think is still coming, I hope that's a fucking banger, because at this point, the money y'all sunk into it and the amount of times it's been done wrong, like there's a lot of ways y'all can fuck it up and not a whole lot of room to do it right.
I mean, the only way they can fuck up Fantastic Four if they do what Fox did with Fan Forced it. Marvel, if you're listening, cast everybody white. Cast everybody white. They're called the first family, not the first diverse family, not the first black family, not the first Latino family, not the first Chinese family. The first family. The first family of Marvel comic books needs to stay white as snow. Okay? Cool. Great.
Because I mean, like, none of us has a problem with looking at Jessica Alba, but her in that first, like, the first two movies, it was like, that's not really Invisible Woman. And then you got Fan Four Stick, where it's like, oh, you got Johnny and Sue Storm that are interracial siblings because one's adopted, because that's a thing. It's like, yeah, adoption's a thing, but we're talking about characters everybody knows. Like, what are y'all trying to do?
I mean, for me, at least Jessica Alba and the rest of the cast look like damn Fantastic Four. I mean, let's be honest. We already know why she was on that role. She was there for her body. And when she put on that spank ass costume, I was like, Yep. Let me just warm my hand up right quick.
And
Fire
another thing,
slap.
if
I
they're
know
going to
I'm gonna
bring
go to jail
in
for
the
it.
Fantastic Four, like
The fan
if you're
force thing was
going to
terrible.
bring in Galactus, make it Galactus, not a big poisonous space cloud.
That's the thing that
Galactus.
got me too. That's the thing that really killed that franchise was not bringing that Galactus. Because if you really think about it, the movie wasn't even bad. It was just the
Yeah,
fact
it
that
wasn't.
it was like everybody was waiting for Galactus. Everybody knew Silver Surfer was coming, but they were like, "Oh, okay, that means Galactus is coming." But Fox thought it would be smart to do a Silver Surfer movie first, then do a Fantastic Four 3 movie because they wanted to introduce Galactus in the Silver Surfer movie first. And I'm just like, their first appearance is in Fantastic Four. Who who cares? Why they didn't do it?
And
It
that's
made
why
no
I,
sense.
I was even more offended when I watched that movie, and there's that just that one little brief second when the cloud is getting closer to Earth and like it passes over, I think it's the moon, and you see the
Mhm.
shadow, and it's the outline of like the actual Galactus's head and helmet and everything, and you just see it for half a second pass over the moon, and that was supposed to be their little like wink to the audience, like, yeah, we know what he's supposed to look like. It's like, great. So why didn't you make him look like that? Like all this bullshit about this space cloud. I know y'all
Yeah,
thought y'all were being clever, but that's not what we want to see. We want to see the character we actually like. This whole bullshit, that's what I'm saying. Like, whenever they take something and they're like, well, we're going to be creative about it, that's when you just got to be like, no, 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 no. Pump the brakes. Give the people what they're used to. Because y'all try to like come up with some new things thinking y'all smart when y'all are really dumb. Like, it always reminds me of that Cat Williams sketch. Like, these people always swear that they're smart, but they're really dumb. And there's nothing worse than someone who's smart, who's dumb, thinking they're smart. And I hate it so much. They're always in Hollywood.
yeah. And then what's so crazy is the Fan Four stick was supposed to be based off of the Ultimate Fantastic Four, and I'm like, yeah, let's stay away from the Ultimate Fantastic Four, please. Let's stay away from the Ultimate Fantastic Four because yeah, that run got issues, and we all know how the Fantastic Four ends after the Ultimate event. I mean, after Ultimate, like no, I don't think that's the best version to base those characters off of. Go back to the
Yeah, we need to
classic.
stay away from like everything from the end of like the Ultimates universe. Because granted, I know like the MCU, most of it was like at least in the early days, it was based on a lot of like the Ultimates universe. Yeah, we all know that. But the way that y'all ended the Ultimates universe, yeah, let's stay away from all of that. Don't do any of that because that shit was terrible.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how that one works. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, Blue Wind says the Terrigen cloud that was suddenly poisonous to mutants. That didn't make no darn sense.
Yeah.
No sense. And now that we talking about the Ultimate Universe, how do we feel about the whole thing about Ben being able to transform from purple light energy construct guy where he's human. He can be able to be human, but then when he needs to power up, he powers up into this purple glow. And if he needs more strength, he becomes the orange rock monster. How would you feel about that if that was in the main continuity? Would you be okay with that, or do you think that's just doing too much?
I think that's doing a little bit too much just because I'm like, when it comes to the thing, like he's always had what he needs. I don't really think that he needs like multiple states of being or whatever. Like it if you want to do something like that, I mean, it could possibly work like for a different character, but for the thing, considering that he's always worked so well, just as the strong orange rock monster, like I think that it's one of those things that's kind of like if it's not broken, don't fix it type of thing. It's like
Mhm.
he works as he is, and like I said, if you want to do something like that, okay, I mean, sure, but I would prefer that you just do it with like a new character, and instead of like obviously instead of turning them into like an orange rock monster, have that other form like be I don't know something else. Like at this point, we have like I don't know how many Hulks. Why not just maybe make another Hulk or something? I don't know, something like that.
I mean, yeah, yeah, Free Fire comics. Thank goodness they didn't base Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch off of the Ultimates.
Oh no, 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 no! We don't need any incest going on in the MCU.
Could you imagine? the
God.
the scandal that Marvel will be in. They be like, what the?
Yeah, like that's where I was like, they almost kind of did it where they had like Tony always hitting on Black Widow and shit, and I was like, okay, y'all are inching closer and closer to that. Like let's calm down. And thankfully they did. They kind of backed off of it when they had him like basically just settle down with Pepper, and they had a kid and everything. I was like, all right, fine, but yeah, it was getting to that point where I was like, y'all are doing some of the weird shit from like the Ultimates
Yeah.
universe. Maybe back off of that.
And then it's kind of crazy because Pepper has her own husband and kids in the comic books right now, and it's like, dang, you kind of want, after this whole MCU thing, you kind of wish that Tony was marrying him instead of hell bitch.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm trying to say.
Like, hell bitch. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
she's aggravating that book.
I still don't understand why like they needed to put that shit in there. I'm like, it didn't. It's not contributing anything. Like, and granted, I have like this picture right behind me that has her on there, like from her cover appearance on Avengers. So I don't hate the character, but at the same time, it's like, what are y'all doing with this character that she's never been like this, and all of a sudden she's just completely insufferable for no fucking reason. Like, I don't get it.
And it's crazy, to be honest. Like, what was you guys possibly thinking? What were you thinking with Hellcat? And then now Tony's about to marry her? No thanks.
I'm like, and especially because I'm like, what a weird character to put into Iron Man. Like, of all the female characters you could put in, you put her in there. Like, why? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, it feels like one of those super random things that whoever, just I guess Christopher Cantwell was thinking like, I would love to see that pairing, and for whatever reason they were like, yeah, she's not doing anything, let's go ahead and let you do whatever you want with her right now. It's like, maybe tell them no, like it's not a good idea.
Definitely, because I don't know what the hell they were thinking with that character. The character's to be honest,
like,
it's
it's no good. It's no good. You got to throw out the whole thing.
Yeah, you definitely got to throw out the whole thing. I mean, but it is what it is with that one. I believe there was something I was about to bring up, but I forgot it. Hold on, let me see if I can remember. Come on, brain, make me remember. I actually like Tony and Pepper's relationship, and Marvel avoided quite a lot in the comic books. Yeah, they have in the comic books. Oh, Teen Titans Academy and Suicide Squad is getting canceled in May, and I'm happy that Teen Titans Academy getting canceled, but I'm not happy that the Suicide Squad is getting canceled, because Suicide Squad was actually interesting, to be honest.
Yeah, Suicide Squad is pretty good.
But I am happy that they get the hell on, to be honest, because I'm not really for this nonsense that they were doing with the Teen Titans Academy.
I'm wondering, like, are they gonna wrap it up, and are they ever gonna give like an actual resolution to the Red X thing, or are they gonna do what I'm pretty sure they're going to do and just be like, nah, fuck it, it's still a mystery, we're gonna tell that story in this other series, so make sure you come and read that. Like, they love doing that shit, and it's like, y'all had me reading this shit for over 10 issues, and this was the only reason I even picked up issue 1. And y'all are going to tell me, oh, now go and read this other series if you want to find out. It's like, just at that point, it would be like, I'll just wait. I'll wait till it's revealed on Wikipedia, and I'll go read it on there.
I think they said he's supposed to be revealed in like either Teen Titans 12 or 14. And it's just like JoJo said, it's just a little too late, a little too wrong, and I can't wait.
Oh, that's how I was too. I'm like, y'all kept me waiting all this damn time, and for nothing, to tell a whole bunch of stories. And they still haven't done anything with them damn kids. They ain't done shit with them damn kids. They ain't done nothing. They've just been background for the whole damn time. I'm like, so when were the kids? When was the Academy supposed to come into play here? At the end of the last issue that I did a review for, the bitch blew up, so the Academy don't even exist anymore. So what are y'all gonna do now?
See, that's what I'm saying. Just wasting everybody's time, to be honest. Like, it's just nothing but a waste of time, to be honest. But it is what it is with that one. But I'm glad it's over, to be honest. Put it out of
stomping on my last damn nerve.
Like, god damn it, just put it out of this misery. Shit. Now, if you do that with Teen Titans, please do that with not Teen Titans, but please do that with Superboy, Son of Kal-El. Just put it out of this misery, please. Please, I beg. Please.
I'm tired of that damn book. I really am. Like, it's no good. Like, he's not even a hero. He really isn't. Like, he's taking orders from his boyfriend, and he's like, yeah, we're gonna, go and fuck with this leader of another country. Who, granted, yeah, he's doing some dumb shit, but at the same time, it's like he hasn't actually done anything evil. He hasn't killed anybody. Well, he allowed one of his one of his heroes or whatever to die or whatever, but he hasn't directly killed anybody. He hasn't destroyed anything. He hasn't tried to take over anything. So I'm like, so y'all gonna literally the only reason is because he put Jay's mom, I guess, in jail or something, and Jay just has a personal vendetta. So you're like, yeah, we're gonna go and like get rid of him. It's like that's not hero type of stuff. That's not justice. That's being vindictive. That's not at all what a hero is supposed to be about. So I don't know why Tom Taylor thinks that's a good story, but it's not.
Oh, and then to find out how Aquaman the Becoming is just a waste of damn time and space just for the Aquaman book. I was like, man, come on.
I'm like, if they called it Aqualad and it was just a story about him doing his own thing, okay, cool. But the fact that they have this whole thing that like, well, he's going to be Aquaman, and then there's going to be a book called Aquaman, and I'm like, see, now y'all are just being goofy. You know what I mean? Why not just do that with everything? You know what I mean? Why don't we have a book called Superman? Why don't we have a book called Batman? Since apparently we have multiples of all of these goddamn characters just running around. Why don't we just do it with all of them? Y'all might as well.
Yeah, definitely agree with that one. What was it? You said if you were to reboot Captain Planet, what would you do to refresh the series respecting the source material? I just pick up from where it left off at, to be honest. Now, I'm not really going to change much of nothing. The characters are going to be a little bit older. They might have kids of their own, and the kids, they might pass the ring down to the kids. But other than that, keep the story the same. Keep everything the same, really, to be honest. Or you could just pretend like it picks up from literally the last episode of the last episode of Captain Planet and just work your way from there. That's how I would do it. And I mean, all you got to do is make sure you have a good message behind polluting is wrong, and make sure the villains are doing something stupid, and make sure Monty get kidnapped every episode.
I'd probably actually do something very much the same too. I think that it works best when it's something like that, because obviously Captain Planet, it's like, the whole thing about it is, environmentalism and respecting, nature and shit like that. So you can definitely stick true to that. I would probably add in a little bit more also like some sci-fi elements to it, where I would have like still the main villain is like, corrupt businessmen polluting the planet, but I would also have it to where like they're doing that because they're trying to also like expand out into space, and maybe they've been in contact with some sort of like alien civilization who are also trying to come to Earth. So they're like polluting the planet, and they're also clearing out space on the planet, like chopping down forests and shit, because they're trying to like create this space for like these aliens to come and just use Earth as like some sort of like trading outpost or something like that. And then have the kids kind of come across like this big conspiracy of these businesses and this like extraterrestrial life, and have all of that kind of come to play all together. So it's like a pollution thing, but it's also not so much just about like, oh, we're trying to tell an environmentalist message. It's also about giving you an interesting story about like, well, he's Captain Planet. He defends the whole planet, and that's from any type of threat, even if it's on the Earth, if it's from another planet. Like, he's going to always be the ultimate defender of the planet because
And
that's his whole thing.
And new clothes for the characters.
Oh yeah, we got
I know,
updated
like,
from the
at the
90s.
last minute, they gave him new clothes, but it was just like, come on now, the show ending like in one more season. Y'all should have thought about that. So new clothes, to be honest. But other than that, yeah, that's what I would do with Captain Planet. Oh, and if you're gonna be a PSA, be a PSA that don't lecture too. I would never, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna make sure the people that are watching the show are entertained by the PSAs as well. And not being like, oh my God, here they go preaching at me again. But that's what I would do. Let's see. Grant Morrison said that he wants Supergirl to be a fascist. Why?
Wait, when did he say that?
He did a little article with Bound into Comics, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, let me see if I can pull it up. Oh, come on. Okay, it says Grant Morrison on DC Comic Books wanting to make Supergirl a fascist as well. Supergirl a fascist? Well, Grant Morrison is continuing his Zahul Substack recollection of the events surrounding Dan DiDio, DC Comics 5G, and the new DC timeline. That led him to write the Superman and Authority miniseries, which again still don't seem like it makes sense compared to what Philip Kennedy Johnson is doing in Superman Action Comics. Like, it just don't make the damn sense God gave. But we knew from previous commentary on Bleeding Cool that DC Comic Books have wanted John to take over the role as Superman, while Clark Kent would have aged and been a much older Superman, taking the authoritarian bent to assemble a new authority in the vein. And we reported 3 years ago, what we didn't know is that there were other plans to have seen Supergirl pushed in an incredible fascist direction for reasons that made sense to me as well. That's what he said. Nazi Kara says no, Dan. Though Infinite Frontier did end up suggesting John Kent would become a tyrant. Yeah, because he is a tyrant. I'm just saying.
I mean, consider and that's what I'm saying. Like, what they're doing with him right now, with this whole shit of him like going after Bendix because Jay said so. It's like that's how it begins. Like, the road to hell is always paved with good intentions. Like, you think you're helping out, but it's like it gets to that point where it's like you're just controlling everything. I mean, that's basically what Sinestro did with Korrigar, where he was, basically an authoritarian dictator. But it's like, in his eyes, he was protecting his planet from all types of threats, including those that might be on the planet. So it's always, it's like that saying goes, every villain is the hero of their own story. Like, it's something that's always existed.
Yeah, and he said basically in Action Comics, Philip Jimmy Johnson was able to hammer it into his own Superman story, and the continuity he was working on. Grant did leave with a year worth of storyline ideas that could have been picked up by someone else. As it to actual publication, Morrison said, "I could only guess they spent too much on me and already thrown the whole thing in the bin. Even if one of the kindest soul could ever pretend to devote my expertise to the DL's DCU continuity." Okay. So basically, you're just saying like how instead of Superman and Authority, I think it would have been Supergirl and the Authorities, and she would have been much aggressive than what Superman is now, which is still weird. Why would you even do that? And I haven't seen The Boys, but I don't know if anybody heard about that controversial scene where Soldier Boy and Homelander get it on and get the snoo. And I don't think and I think they cut it out, which CBR said that it was the right thing for them to do because it was such a manipulative tactic or something like that. You know, basically saying like, you know, here's Homelander playing on Soldier Boy's emotions and feelings about being a superhero that, you know, he convinced him to, you know, do the nasty. And I'm just like, there's no way in the world you're going to be able to get Jensen Ackles to agree to this. So, yeah.
Wow. I honestly haven't caught up with that show. Like, I am. When it comes to the boys, I remember I've read all of it. Like, I read all the comics, all the series, all the like tie-ins and everything years ago, like years and years before. Like, I think it was like right when I graduated from high school. I read all of it, so I know about what goes on in it. And when I watched it, when I heard that they were going to make a show, I was like, "Oh shit, are they sure? Like, have they read the book?" Because it's not very positive. It's not very bright. As a matter of fact, it's very gruesome. There's a whole lot of dark shit in there, and it doesn't have a very good outlook on anything, quite honestly. So I was like, I don't know about this one. And then I saw the first season. I was like, okay, you know what? This is a pretty good show. But it's a good show because they didn't follow the source material too closely. Like, they kind of brightened it up a little bit. Yeah, there's still like death and there's still like some very tragic things that happen. But for the most part, they still keep a pretty even tone as, you know, we're going to tell like a good story. And that's where I was like, the only way that this is going to continue to work is if you keep up that same spirit, because it does not turn out well in the like Anthony says, it does not have a happy ending. The comics do not have a fucking happy ending at all.
It doesn't. But my thing is, if you're gonna go there, go there, because there are fans of Soldier Boy who's gonna be like, why did this not happen? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I mean, because then they're talking about they're going to adapt. They're going to adapt their most controversial part of the comic book run, which is the Hero-gasm arc.
Oh yeah, that one was. Ooh, my God, I remember reading that. Like, there have only been a few comics in my life that I've ever had to like take a break while I was reading them. One of them was The Boys. Like, there were some, like, I read them and I was like, shit, like, this is heavy. Like, I would have to go and like read like old Superman comics and shit like that. Like, just something very bright, just because I was like, this shit is bleak. Even for me, like, I'm sitting here wearing a Behemoth shirt. Like, I can handle some darkness, but that shit was bleak.
Yeah.
And the only other one other than that was Blackest Night. Like, that was one of the only, and I've read Marvel Zombies. Marvel Zombies is pretty good too. But Blackest Night actually at one point actually scared me to the point where I was like, okay, I gotta turn this off. I gotta close these books. I'm gonna go watch TV. Like, I think I went and watched SpongeBob or some shit. Like, I had to watch something completely opposite from that because I was like, I need to not be in that mind state right now. So I don't know how they're gonna do Hero-gasm. That shit is dark.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, well, okay, you're saying that the whole, you know, being manipulated by Homelander into tricking him into having sex with him is bad, but Hero-gasm is okay to be doing whatever it's doing. I never quite understood that. I was just like, okay, you might as well throw out the whole series then if you're not going to do neither one of these story arcs. Great.
I think it's just because, like, and to answer Blue Wind's question, like, they do like it. They do like the LGBT stories. We all know that. But the thing is, when you look at it, like, these aren't heroes, like, as we understand them. And especially when it comes to Homelander, he's definitely not that type of hero. Like, he's not a hero at all, quite honestly.
Yeah.
So it's like, they're not going to represent, you know, any type of gay scenes, gay characters, knowing full well that they're actually like sociopathic monsters. Y'all know that's not how they're trying to present the community. So they're not going to do that shit because they're like, no, we don't want to be seen as like we're showing like gay people are evil or some shit like that. Like, they're just like, no, we can't do it. That would be offensive. And it's like, okay, this whole fucking comic book series is very offensive to everybody. But okay, yeah, that's the line.
Yeah. I think it's completely crazy, to be honest. If you when you just really think about it at this point, it's like, damn, for real, that's how we doing this stuff. Exactly, killing and stalking. hmm
I just, oof.
Just be like, God damn it,
Mm.
like I don't know. Oh yeah, they said that the Marvel shows are leaving Netflix, which means
Oh
that
yeah.
Disney might be able to get them and put them on the
I
streaming
had
service.
I saw an article that said that they probably weren't going to be coming to Disney Plus like anytime soon. So I was like, I mean, I guess I could kind of see that because, like, I mean, I don't know about Daredevil. Like, they could bring Daredevil over. It's not that bad. But I mean, guess I could see Punisher because, like, some of that shit gets pretty brutal. And I'm like, yeah, I guess Disney needs to probably like set up some sort of like 18 plus like section of their like program service or whatever before they just
Yeah,
throw that on there because they don't want people to, because it's Disney. You know how they are about like extreme type of shit.
and that's what I'm worried about with Moon Knight, because I'm like,
Mm.
Moon Knight is a dark character. If you're not gonna go there, don't do the character. Don't
Hmm.
even bother doing the character if you're not gonna do
Hmm.
it.
Like if y'all scared, don't even try it. Just stay away from it.
hmm You can always go back when you're stronger. And you know, it's
Hmm.
another crazy thing too that I heard um is the whole Aloy thing from Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West. And I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
what is this? What am I waking up to with this nonsense? How
When
did
I saw that too,
how
I was like, they're really complaining about this whole like Native American thing. I was like, this shit's set in the future. Like, thanks, good job, y'all, on missing the whole fucking point of what's going on here. Like, yes, society ended. The humans who still survive are basically tribal now, kind of like before America was colonized. Yes, that's basically what would happen. It would go back to the way it was because the world, say it with me now, is like it was back then. So, of course, they're going to bear similarities because, yeah, but you could look to literally any country in the world during a specific time, and they had that same type of thing. You had tribes, you had nomadic people who dressed, in clothes made out of animal skins, and they lived out in nature and used bows and arrows and shit like that. Like, that's not just like exclusive to Native Americans. That's all over the world, all throughout time. It's not anything that the Native Americans invented.
Yeah. So it's kind of weird to even complain about it. I'm just like, but y'all do realize that these people lost all of that history and stuff. They don't know about the terrible things that happened in the United States. They don't know about the Native Americans. They don't know anything. They don't even know color. I even remember one girl was like trying to slide in that slick thing talking about, how come there's no LGBT stuff in there? David, come on. Come on. You know why it's not in there.
Cause
You
it ain't
know
no
why.
pride parades, girl. Like, just calm down. Like, it's all about survival at this point. Like, that's why humanity survived as long as it did because they weren't worried about it. Were there gay people? Yeah, but guess what? They died because they had no kids and they didn't pass that shit on. Like, it is what it is. It ain't what it
Yeah,
ain't. The people who survived were the people who were breeding. That's how we got to here, where y'all can bitch about that shit because y'all are real comfortable not having to worry about survival.
exactly. Like when you're surviving, we don't have time for, oh, I believe I'm this gender or I want to go through a sex change. And it's just be like, with what? With what? With what, baby? Come on, talk to me. With what? With
Mhm.
what? Some animal skin?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, what do y'all really think y'all get? At most, y'all would probably be like the shaman or the medicine man or some shit like that. But even then, it's like y'all aren't doing much. If the only thing you have to talk about is like how you identify and shit like
No.
that, like bitch, you better make me some sort of like healing salve. I got like these like bows and arrows, like these arrows left like holes in me and shit. I need to heal this. I don't need to hear about your gender identity. I need you to help me keep alive.
Yeah, yeah. But you know, these weirdos, I mean, hell, they complain about clothing now, and now they talking about sexuality, and it's just like, oh, nobody kills right now. That's why they make no sense with the whole. with the whole Last of Us 2 with Swole Bitch Abby and the girl who wanted to be a man and Levi. And I'm just like, there's a reason why women are preserved throughout these kind of times, because you guys are, I mean, women have the ability to bring life into the new world. Sorry, two guys can't do it no matter how much they try. They can't do it. Just like two women can't do it. Well, but Trey, you said America's parents did. Yeah, because they're aliens from another parallel dimension.
Mhm.
You know?
And we're talking about like two completely different things. Like, I swear, people always want to believe that there's an accepted way that all of fantasy works. It's like, no, different like properties, different universes have different shit going on. So if you're telling a story like with for the whole forbidden thing, like the Forbidden Horizon, like bullshit, like that's basically based off of America 1,000 years in the future. All of the same rules still basically apply. Are there certain fantasy elements that are exclusive to that property? Yeah, that's why you have like the robot dinosaurs like running around and shit like that. But that doesn't mean that all like you can just do whatever you want. Like it's different, and people need to learn how to differentiate between these different things, because it's lazy to assume that the same rules apply across everything. Like, that's not how it works. That's never been how it worked.
Yeah. So I don't know. I really don't know. I just don't understand why this is the hill we want to die on about certain things. But this is nothing. They need to stop listening to those weirdos. Stop listening to those weirdos. They don't care about this stuff, because if they really did, they wouldn't be complaining about that kind of stuff. If anything, they need to be complaining about Aloy's face being squishy, apparently.
That's what I'm saying too. I'm like, these people spend more time on Twitter complaining than they do actually playing these goddamn games. So I don't know why people listen to them.
Oh yeah, especially because those be the main ones talking about we need an easy mode or a gamer producer mode or something like that. That way it makes it easier for them, even though they're already on easy.
Because like these are those people who have like that FOMO shit, like where they assume like I need to be able to beat the game so that way I can actually talk about what happened in the game. It's like, well, then get better at the game. Like, you don't need a mode where it basically just walks through. You can put the controller down, sit back on your fucking couch, eating chips, just watching the story play out in front of you. Like, if that's what you want, go watch a movie, go watch a TV show. This is a game. The whole point of it is to actually do shit. And y'all want to act like, oh, well, we need an easy mode so that way it's easier. Or I just need a cinematic. I think I saw a game like that one time that had a cinematic mode, whereas basically you just got to sit back and like the game would just play out in front of you. I was like, what is even the point of putting it on then? Like, that's not a game, dude. That's just a movie.
But Rolling Dodge, that's what we said in the last live stream, is basically like DC and Marvel. Most of everybody got AIDS and HIV because it just don't make no. Half these people are pronoun and LGBT people. It just don't make no logical sense. Dylan, you said you live in Texas, right?
Yep.
So there must be about gays. There's like probably about 50% gays, right?
Hell no. I've been to the Pride Parade out here. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's some pretty good, like, a pretty good crowd that comes out. But the thing is, it's like, if you were to actually look at how many of them are actually, lesbian, gay, bisexual, or even transgender, out of the entire crowd at an actual Pride Parade, it's maybe like 60%. And the other 40% are their straight friends or family members who come with them. It's like, it's not indicative of the whole thing. Like, it's a very small number of people. I've gone out to the gay bars. Literally every gay bar that exists in this city where I live, they're all on one street. They're all right next door to each other. There are 3 of them right next door to each other. Like, I'm not even bullshitting you. They're walking distance, and not like a long walk. I'm talking it take you maybe 5 minutes to get from each one walking.
Damn.
Yeah. Like, it's not that big of a demand.
And it's kind of crazy because Marvel and DC swear up and down like they're by adding about every other week, making a character LGBT, that they're bringing in diversity and inclusion. And I'm just like, how is this diversity and inclusion?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make logical sense, because what you're trying to say, you're trying to sit here and try to say that in order for it to be even, we need to see more LGBT people, but it just doesn't make logical sense. And you know, in the real world, we don't see that many LGBT people around us like that. Yeah, we might know a few of them, but as far as like just randomly walking out, no, you don't. But they swear. I mean, I live in Oklahoma, and we maybe have like 5% of LGBT people that live in Oklahoma. I'm
Yeah,
surprised
that's
any of them exist in Oklahoma.
I
I'm
mean,
just
and
being
that's the
honest.
thing. Like those are the numbers like for the whole country. Like it's about 5% of the population, like in total.
Yeah,
Out of all of the millions of people who live here, like 5%. Like, but they want to make it seem like no, it's about 50% of the country. And it's like there have been all these articles, I've seen them too, where it's like actually there are probably a lot more people who are bisexual than admit to it. It's like, okay, well, you're still just making guesses. If they're not saying it, then you're just
yeah.
putting words in their mouths. Like that doesn't mean anything.
And even then, let's even add that one up too when it comes to bisexuality. Most bisexual people stay with the opposite sex.
Mhm. Very
When
true.
when it's time to settle down, most of them do.
Mhm. And
So
that definitely does happen. Like it's one of those things where it's like, you know, if they end up, you know, in a relationship like mine, you know, I'm bi, I'm with a dude, you know, people just look at it as like, oh, that's a gay couple. They're never gonna stop and like ask us, like, oh, are either of you actually bisexual? No, they're just gonna look at us and be like, oh, it's a gay couple. That's fine. If you say a bi guy ends up with a girl, then nobody's ever gonna look at them and be like, I wonder if he's gay though. Like, no, there's gonna be like, oh, it's a
yeah,
straight couple. It's just a couple. They won't even say straight. They're just a couple. Like, it's no questions about it at that point. And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, people always make up this big thing that like that we have bigger representation because people are actually bi. It's like, I mean, maybe, but once they make a choice, it is what it is, and that's where they stay at for most of the time, at
yeah,
least. So I mean, I don't know why people try to make it like this bigger thing. It's like at some point, with as much as they're pushing this shit, we're going to get to a point where it's like it's going to actually be new and refreshing to have a character who's just straight or just white because they're trying to make everything that's not that, and we're going to do that for years till it gets to the point where it's like, well, what haven't we done yet? Oh, let's make a white guy the main character. And it's like, oh, nobody's done that for the past 20 years. Like, yeah, let's do that. That's brand new. It's like, I mean, y'all are literally making it to where they're going to have to swing back around to that because that's the one thing y'all aren't doing.
and I believe what's going to happen is that a lot of these characters that they made LGBT are gonna have to change course because eventually you're going to have to sell these characters and products eventually around the world and stuff like that. And a lot of these characters you're not going to be able to sell it, especially when people know that these characters have been predominantly straight for years.
Mhm.
Like you're going to have, like I said in my video with the Superman thing, LGBT and Superman, sorry, no offense, should never collide. It should never collide. It's an American icon. Ain't nobody trying to hear the American icon attached to the LGBT community. They're just not going. They're not going to. And other countries, like I said, have already talked about removing DC from their entire thing because the characters are all of a sudden becoming LGBT. And I don't think DC is thinking far past trying to please Twitter. That's just like these are ramifications and consequences that I really don't think that this stuff was planned out. Because I know if I was an executive at WB and DC, I'd be like, hold on. Every week, DC, every week there's another character that is bisexual or whatever you need the plot to be. Get out of here. Get out of here with this nonsense. We need to talk. And that's what I would be like. No, we need to talk
Mhm.
because we got to start doing some changes. And I think that's what's going to have to happen in order for the comic book industry to heal. They're going to have to take a step back, and they're going to have to walk back a lot of decisions that they made a lot of times too.
They really will. Like it's getting to the point where it's just like they have to realize like what they're doing, this shit's not working. Like they think that, oh, we're doing it for a good reason and we're giving people like the representation they've never had. And it's like, okay, great. And now that y'all did that, y'all can see nobody's reading it. Nobody cares. It's not bringing you any sales just because someone convinced you this is something that's needed. doesn't mean it's going to be profitable. Like I don't understand where these people are coming from with this shit. Like they're really believing somehow this is going to have some sort of positive effect on like, different groups of people. It's like, no. Like if you really believe that like white people have always been on top because Superman was white, it's like I don't think you're understanding what people liked about the character or where they got their inspiration. It's not like they were like, well, I can do anything because Superman is white and he's just the best. It's like, no, they were looking at it like Superman is great. Like Clark Kent is a very meek guy, but then he turns into Superman and he can do anything. It's like that's where the fascination is. It's not because like, well, he's a white guy and I'm a white guy, so I can do any like no, that's the dumbest shit that I've ever heard in my life. And assuming that somehow someone like me is gonna be like, wow, this character is gay. That means I can do anything too. Like, no, stupid. Like, I'm a grown ass man. I know that's not how this shit works. Like, what the hell? I swear to God, that's why I'm like, this is some dumb shit. Mm-hmm.
Because don't you know, just like Adele said, I understand what this reward means, but I just want to let everybody know that I love being a woman. Mm-hmm. I really do. I'm so proud of us.
Yeah, I was like, when I saw that, I was like, okay, go on ahead, girl. Okay, like, cool. Feel your moment. She won the award. Yeah, feel yourself. But I agree with her. And like, seeing people like melt down on Twitter and being like, oh my God, Adele's a TERF. How could she say that? I saw one person who was like, so she advocates for the death of trans children. I was like, what? How the hell did you get that from what she said? Like, you got to be smoking the entire crack rock to get to that. Wait, what, Rolling Dodge? What would you do if Joker is somehow Helena Wayne's father? Because current DC might be dumb enough to do it. No.
Yeah.
That's my response. No.
But I don't know. It's kind of crazy, to be honest, what's going on right now with all of the nonsense that's been happening with everything going on. I think there was one more thing that I saw that I thought that I wanted to discuss besides you guys seen that Blue's Clues trailer. I mean, not Blue's Clues, but the Blue's Clues thing. And I was looking at the new guy, and I was like, man, can somebody put a leg brace on him? Because his knees and thighs ain't trying to separate from each other. I'm like, please save his knees, y'all. Please save his knees.
All I know is Blue's Clues ain't been the same ever since Steve left. Like,
that's true. That is definitely true. Be like, think like a rescue hero. Think safe. If you guys know that one, yes, I would. I'd be so happy if you guys knew. Oh God. Oh man. I think that was everything that I had to say. Because I don't care about that Lord of the Rings bullshit. I already made it clear. I don't care. I'm just kind of.
I would have cared if it was looking good. I would have cared enough to watch it, but with everything I'm seeing, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna skip it. I have no interest.
Yeah, I saw it. The only thing about it that was weird for me was when I saw it during the Super Bowl, and I said, man, because they spent like $10 million on it, right? God. And it's kind of like, wow, you spend $10 million on this ad, and when you finally see the 30-second ad clip or whatever, however many minutes, it's just like, what was that? That's it? Okay.
I'm sitting here like, y'all could have given me $1 million. I would have put it on my channel and gotten y'all the same amount of viewers that y'all got from that.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Could have saved a lot of money.
I'm just saying, I don't know what they were thinking with that one. That was is crazy, to be honest. I'm just like, really. All I know is I'm glad that people are like not putting up with it, to be honest, and I don't blame them. I really don't blame them at all when it comes to that kind of stuff, because it's bull crap, to be honest. When right down to it, all of it's BS on BS.
Yeah, like I've watched the videos. I watched like just some guys' videos on it and shit like that. And like, coming from people who really understand like the lore and everything, I'm like, yeah, they fucked this up like 100%. And the one thing I will say on it is that like what they're doing or what their supporters are doing is what they always do with shit like this, where it's like at first they're like, well, what's the matter with you bigots? Like, why won't you accept the changes? And then they'll turn around and be like, well, actually, the ones that y'all love, that y'all have always like, y'all grew up watching, well, they didn't do it right either. And then when that doesn't work, they're like, oh, well, actually, the creator was actually either racist, or the other way that they'll do it is like, well, they always wanted to tell these kinds of stories,
Right.
but in reality, they couldn't because of the time. So now we're doing it right. It's like they go through all of these exact same steps trying to make these excuses for it. And it's just because you can tell they have no explanation or excuse for why this shit is good at all. So they're just like, well, we'll throw whatever at the wall and hopefully one of these will stick. It's like none of them. None of them work. Like all of this is just bullshit.
Sorry, Free Fire Comics. I've been catching up on the Netflix Marvel shows. I missed a few episodes that I need to fill in before it leaves the streaming service. And I watched We're All Dead, that Korean show. That was pretty cool. That's another one. So no, I didn't get a chance to watch Arcania. I'm probably not gonna watch Arcania until I finish up the Marvel Netflix stuff, just to make sure I got the full story with everything, to be honest. Well,
Yeah,
what about you?
I have not watched Arcane yet. Well, I watched the first episode. I just need to actually like finish it. But yeah, I watched the first episode. It's pretty good. At first I was like, I don't know how I feel about this art style that they have going for the show, but it's actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Like it was pretty good. So I do need to get back to watching it as soon as I find the damn time. But yeah, I've seen it and it does look really good. So I just need to finish it.
Yeah, dude. I think that's pretty much everything for me. That I will think. Oh my god, I just saw that video pull up of your best friend talking about Snyder Bros are mad, and I'm just like, every time I think you're doing good, here you go with the bullshit. Here you go with the bullshit.
Yeah. She does like to complain about a whole lot of shit. I'm like, damn, girl, like, come on now. Like, going after fans does nothing for you because, like, when it comes to fans, we all have our own individual opinions, but you love going after just whoever has the opinion that's opposite of yours.
Yeah, and then what's gonna happen is, and then the Snyder fans come up in that message and stuff like that, you want to cry wolf and be like, they're being mean to me and stuff like that. You did it to yourself. You did it to yourself. I do not feel sorry for you at this point, because stuff like that does trigger people. Why would you sit up there and say something like that if you weren't ready to take that heat? You know?
I don't know why she does that to herself. It's like when it comes to the Snyder Bros, like I'm the same way. I'm like, I'm not that big of a fan of his. Like, yeah, I've liked some of his movies, but like I'm not that big of a fan of his. But even I'm just like, there's no real point because you just know what's going to happen when it comes to them. You say anything even remotely like critical of him, and they just dogpile the shit out of you. So it's like, why even bother? Just leave the if you don't like it, just leave it alone. Like that does more than anything than trying to criticize it. Just not saying anything does a lot more than saying something.
Like, you enjoy Peacemaker, okay, that's great. But here you go making a video talking about Snyder Bros are mean, and then then don't complain when you get negative comments. Just like when Lizzo fat ass do some stupid shit like she did recently, about this is art, and it's just her being butt naked, showing her all her 592 million roles that nobody asked to look at, and then get on Instagram later on and then complain about, I'm working on me and stuff like that. Y'all just mad that y'all not working on y'all and all that kind of stuff like that, because I love me, and I'm just like, here you go crying wolf. Here you go crying wolf. All the time. You do this all the time to yourself. Now she's saying that Peacemaker did better than Justice League Snyder Cut. And I'm like, what? Yeah, nah, I'm not about to. No. The show was not better than Snyder Cut. Y'all can kiss my ass. Y'all can kiss my ass.
I'm just like, it's. I get it, like, and that's what I'm saying. She's one of those that, like, whatever opinion she has, she assumes that's the only right one. And it's like, that just kind of goes to show that you don't really regard anybody else's opinion at all. Like, you don't actually care. You think that your opinion is the one right one, and everybody else is wrong if they don't agree with you. It's like, that's not how opinions work. Like, especially when it
Yeah.
comes to shit like shows and movies. Like, if you don't like the Snyder Cut, okay, fine. If you love the Snyder Cut, fine. But to sit there and say, like, well, I didn't like it, and everyone who did like it is just lying. It's like, no, maybe they had shit in there that they actually legitimately enjoyed. And that's totally fine. Like, there's all kinds of shit that I don't like that I've seen, and other people have told me, like, well, I actually did like that comic, or I actually did like that movie. I'm like, all right, that's fine. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
telling you that you're wrong for liking it, and I'm not telling you you're stupid for liking it. I'm just saying I didn't like it, and here's why. And that you can leave it at that. But for her to go around like want to be like, oh, these people are mad, these people are crying, like, it's no, like, it's not that at all. They just have their own opinion, the same way you got yours. Nothing grander than that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that last thing that definitely reminded me, the Marvel artist who was waking up to the Lord of the Rings stuff, talking about why can't corporate do new things or whatever, and I'm just like, really? After you've been on Twitter saying nonsense to fans, now you finally understand what fans were talking about? Like, what did you think we were criticizing, stupid? You
Yeah,
know?
fucking Bill Sienkiewicz's dumbass. Yeah, I saw that
Yeah.
too, where he was like
I was like,
complaining
wait.
about these like forced changes. It's like, you were the one saying that, like, anybody who had a problem with it, like, they're pieces of shit and all this stuff. And it's like, now all of a sudden you got a problem with it, and you don't understand why people got a problem with you now. It's like, all right, you know what? That's totally fine. I mean, you were the one who made a video, or no, like, Facebook post talking about, like, all of you people, I want nothing to do with you. Don't support me. All right, fine. Once you say some shit like this and they attack you for that, don't forget you told us not to have anything to do with you either. So there you go. Handle
Exactly.
that shit on your own.
Exactly. And it doesn't make sense. And you're right, guys, it doesn't make any sense because the opinions don't make logical sense at all. It doesn't make sense because it's just like, okay, you'll never see me or Dylan make a video where we'll be like you'll never see me make a video about, oh, the Robert Pattinson fans suck. Cry about it later. Like, for instance, if the Batman movie sucked, I might make a title that says the Batman movie, I saw it, it sucked. And then I'll explain the reasons why I think the movie sucked, or if the movie really did bomb at the box office, I will let you guys know. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But I would never follow up with the video. Or if for instance, it did well and it triumphed in theaters, and if I make a video about, oh, the Batman movie did very well, um, and it made a lot of money, I'm not going to get on there and be like, oh, the Snyder Bros are mad that Matt Reeves' Batman movie is doing better than Batflick.
Mhm.
You know, I'm not gonna do that because that doesn't make any sense. Why do you always go against the fans? That makes no sense to me. Damn.
Yeah, like, it's really stupid. It's like, that's what fandom is. Like, people are gonna have different opinions, and people, if they want to talk shit about something, they're gonna do that. But to sit here and be like, well, they're crying, see, like, look at how they're talking to, and like, they were probably, some of those people were probably going to do that regardless, like, whether it did good, whether it did bad, they were gonna talk shit about it. So I mean, you trying to sit here and say that they're crying like that, you're giving them attention that they didn't need. You're choosing to do it. If you enjoyed it, fine, talk about what you liked about it and leave it at that. If you had any criticisms, share those too. But to try and go after people because they don't agree with you, that doesn't do anything. Like, and that's like Trey said, like, we're never going to make a video saying like, oh, if Batman does well, we're not going to sit here saying like, oh, MCU fans are mad that the Batman actually did well. It's like, if people are upset about it, they're going to be upset about it whether I make a video about it or not. So it doesn't really matter what about any of that. It's like, if I like it, I'm going to tell y'all why I liked it. If I don't like it, which I kind of get the feeling that's going to be the case, but if I don't like it, then I'm going to tell y'all what I didn't like about it, and that's just fine. If someone comes and tells me like, well, I don't agree with you on that, and I think it was actually good, okay, cool. I mean, if you can tell me that why you liked it, that's totally fine. But for you to just come and tell me, oh no, you're wrong, you're stupid, you don't actually understand Batman or anything like that, it's like, okay, you're not telling me why you liked it though. Like, you're not pointing out anything that for me to agree with. If you tell me what you liked about it, that's fine. I can totally agree with that. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. I'm not going to tell you you're stupid. I can accept that you and I might see a movie completely differently, and that's fine. We don't have to be enemies about shit like that. Wait, what? Nerdette liked The Last of Us 2, Mom. Yeah, you know what, Rolling Dodge, the fact that she liked Mom to begin with, that kind of tells you everything you need to know. I mean, the rest of them too. Master of the Universe Revelations, just to put it out there, like with the whole Masters of the Universe thing, like when it was first announced and leading up to the show premiering, there was pretty high excitement for Masters of the Universe shit. Like when I would go to the store, they had all kinds of like Masters of the Universe toys and shit like that were coming out, and they were selling pretty well. I'm not gonna lie, like they would sell out of the shit. Soon as the show came out and they actually had like Kevin Smith talking all stupid and shit against the fans, I go now, and they have had the same toys at my local Walmart since before Christmas. Even during Christmas, the shit didn't sell out. It stayed there fully stocked. People could not have fucking cared less. And now they don't talk about Masters of the Universe at all. Because, I mean, when you start talking shit about the fans, I mean, that's what's going to happen. No one's going to want to support the shit. Like, it's not going to happen. Blue Wind says, hell, the Sonic fandom is always mad or pessimistic to the series too. That's true. And I saw where they're coming out with the next movie. They got Knuckles in there, and then apparently they're going to give Knuckles a TV show, which, all right, we'll see how that goes. I've always loved Knuckles. That's my favorite Sonic character. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. Free Fire, y'all see the... Yeah, I saw that Seth Rogen's going to be working on a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles thing. And if he approaches that shit the way that he approached making a Christmas special, well, I think we already know what we're about to get from that, right? Like it's not going to be any good at all. I can already call it right now. I don't want to see anything with Seth Rogen in it. Well, I might end up watching that Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers movie that they're going to put on like Disney Plus or whatever.
Has a trip wouldn't happen.
I know. I saw that. I was like, they got one of them looking one way, another one looking the other way. I was like, oh shit. But I don't know. I might watch it, even though Seth Rogen is in it. But I'm just like, I don't know. I'll see how I feel about it when it actually comes out. I might watch it. I might not. But anything really that Seth Rogen is attached to, I'm just like, that's probably gonna be a miss for me. I'm not trying to see it. Mm-mm.
And yes, we did see the team. I mean, not the Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtles. It looked horrible. It looked like they were smoking crack.
Yeah, I didn't really like that like reboot that they did a few years ago either. Like the turtles just looked weird as shit.
Yeah, the rise of the TMNT, and April's black and 14 or 13 years old, and the turtles are different size. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm done. Ain't doing. We're not playing this game. But yeah, so that was it. I think that was everything, though. Didn't think we discussed every major thing that came out today.
We got it all.
Oh, anybody's gonna watch Uncharted? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm apparently going to go watch it. My boyfriend told me like a week ago. He was like, "Oh yeah, my friends and I, we all got tickets. We're gonna go watch on the 20th." I was like, "Oh, we are."
I'm like, you know what?
Great.
Snoo.
I'm just like, I'm saying you better be buying the popcorn too.
Every time I think I'm clear. Here y'all go. Here you go with. Oh yeah, we're going to this movie.
That's why I'm just like, oh god. All right, fine. I don't know which one of his friends wanted to go see it because it's usually one of them's like, I want to go see this, and the rest of them like, okay, well, I'm not doing anything. Let's go watch it. I'm like, Great.
And
Then
Dylan
y'all
be in the
rope
back.
me into this shit.
Dylan be in there.
Seriously, I'm sitting there just like.
Be like, hey,
but I
wasn't
don't
that
know. We'll
amazing?
see.
Yeah, it was amazing. I like when the water dashed across the screen. Yeah. Yeah.
My favorite part was that part when, like, at the end when all those names started coming up. What they call that? The credits. Yeah, that was my favorite part.
Oh God. Yep, we had a fun stream. I have no idea what happened with Kate. So
I don't know. She might have been busy or something.
she didn't say. Usually she say something, but she just been looking and ain't saying nothing, which is strange, and it bothers my OCD. But yeah, thanks for stopping by at the stream, everyone. We'll catch you guys another time. Who knows? Yeah, Dylan might do a stream or whatever. I might do a surprise stream. You never know. But yeah, we'll catch you guys another time. And I'm glad everybody was able to come out. Thanks for everything, guys. And we'll catch you guys later. Oh, and don't forget to follow everybody's socials on the little thing. Please and thank you. Give a little like, follow, all that fun stuff. And we'll catch you guys later. Peace out.
Cheers, man.